What's up, chat? How's it going? It's Wednesday. We're getting wacky, I guess. We're getting wactical. Jesus Christ. Just out of fucking nowhere, we dropped a Wednesday balance data slate. What is that? What is that, chat? What is this? Why? Why is it not Wednesday? They've been Thursday like every time. And then just like, hey, let's do a Wednesday on the second weekend of the month. Okay. Like 8 weeks after the last one. All right. Fair enough, I guess. We're going on holiday early, so we might as well hot drop the balance data slate. So that's what we're talking about today. I've done a little bit of a perusal of it. I haven't run through everything on my end. So there's definitely some stuff in here that I have skipped over and that will be surprised to me. So you'll get to watch that live. I'm a little bit, I'm like a little bit sad, I guess, that I don't know. It's just like a confusing mess, I guess, just because it's in the middle of all the Grotzman stuff. So it basically leaked that it was coming out early, so I made myself wake up earlier than normal. So I'm a little loopy this morning, chat, but hopefully it won't be too bad, and everything I say will make sense. Yeah, it'll be fucking a nightmare. Yeah, fuck, god damn it. Yeah, I'm coming off the back of having to re-release my Grey Knight video from yesterday, so that video is gonna tank, and it will stop me from recording new stuff yesterday night, or yesterday evening, and yeah, I don't know. It's been a day, but we're back here. Thought I was gonna hit 1226. Like honestly, yeah, I didn't think I figured it would happen sort of at the end of the month or in early January. I super duper did not expect it right now because it kind of doesn't make any sense, but it is what it is. Maybe they're like pre-releasing for LVO or some shit. I don't know. I don't know what it is, chat. Space Marine Librarian detachment is off but fun. Yeah, I read that too. I don't know if there's going to be a video about it. Like, to be perfectly honest, I don't know how I'm going to keep up with Grotzmas videos, with multiple detachments releasing every day, and also a balanced data slate. I think that series might just... I don't know what to do. Anyway, let's talk about some balanced data slate stuff. Good place to start is the rules commentary document. It's only one change. Okay. Just work harder. Just add more hours to the day. That's that would be good. All right, let's take a peek at the fucking man. The change like section here is a fucking nightmare. Oh my god. All right, let's look at the rules commentary. Wait, this has updated. Oh, it means December 11th. That's UK stuff. So it's literally just a stratagem change, no rules changes. They didn't wait. You're telling me that they released an entire balance data slate update and they didn't reword the ruin line of sight rule to do the same thing a fourth time? What? That's crazy. It was funny because I was at a tournament the other day and like people literally were still confused about that change. They were like, "Wait a minute. What do you mean you can draw a line of sight well like with your piece of your model, but your model's not in the terrain?" I'm like, yeah, that's how line of sight works. It just means that my model isn't considered to be in the terrain if my pieces are overhanging it. Wild. It's just added confusion. All right, where is this change? Did they actually change it? It would be in here. Oh, okay. You can fire Overwatch in your opponent's movement phase or charge phase after an enemy unit is set up or when an enemy unit starts or ends a normal advance or fallback move or declares a charge. Normal advance or fallback move. Is that... the change here, I think, is charge declaration, right? It triggers instantly rather than waiting to see if you have succeeded a charge, which is how everyone thought it worked, but it didn't, so it is what it is. Let's turn my music down a little bit here, chat, just in case. But I believe that is the only change. Honestly, I mean, improving the efficacy of Overwatch is not exactly something I'm super psyched about, but at least it's a little bit more consistent. So previous wording was when an enemy unit starts or ends a normal advanced fallback move or charge move. So yeah, it just changed this segment to add declares a charge instead of starts or ends a charge. Yeah, you can fail your charge and get shot. Great, I love that. Although, yeah. It can also... Oh, does that, like, fuck up some stuff? All right, we have a... I'm going to pull out the T5S2 FAQ real quick. Because there is a weird corner case where... Overwatch time... I think this actually fucks charging, like, super hard. Yeah, so in the previous version of the ruling, right, the original wording, if a unit lost models in response to Overwatch in the charge phase, that meant that they were still in the process of resolving a successful charge. So that charge that worked. We did it. Congratulations, we did it. And then you lose some models, but it's okay. You still get to move towards the charge target because you have already done the theoretical charge to get there. I think that the new change, because it occurs when you declare the charge, but before you roll it, you have the capacity to make people fail charges by killing them. Which is, like, kind of shitty, to be honest with you. You also get to ask the question about what happens if you, like, declare a charge with a character in a unit and then kill the unit. Who knows? Nobody knows. Yuck. No more charge end Overwatch. That is true. Yeah, you can no longer Overwatch at the end of a charge. But to be fair, the times in which you could do that were very rare. It was specifically monsters and vehicles, because Big Guns Never Tire allowed you to shoot into melee, but not out of it. Out of phase, for whatever reason, because they didn't really recognize that that was what they were doing when they worded it that way. So, like, you could charge with a vehicle and then like go to tank shock somebody and be overwatched by a different unit. So you can't do that anymore. That is another change for sure. As if charging wasn't swinging enough, yeah. I honestly, like, I don't think that this is going to matter super often. It just feels kind of bad, I guess, for melee armies, but it is what it is. It's just, like, to clean up the rules. It's basically just going to head off an annoying question that I'm sure that, like, the TOs got constantly. My opponent overwatched me, but then I failed my charge. What happens? We shouldn't have done that. That's not how it works. But it was, like, super weird, and I think a lot of people didn't know it worked that way, which I think is totally fair, so it is what it is. All right, balanced data slate time, chat. All right, what should we start with? Should we start with balanced data slate or points? I feel like balanced data slate is better, but whatever people want to do. They added a nice thing to the points document, by the way. They added the amount changed by to the document, to everything that changed now. So, you know, we don't have to bring up an old version of the Munitorum and then, like, compare them. Slate? Everyone says slate? All right. All right. Balanced data slate time. Let's go. Let's go. Cool. So here's the big one. And sometimes, every once in a while, I get this warm, fuzzy feeling that the balance team listens to when I, like, mauled out about something dumb. And this time, I have no evidence for that, by the way, besides my own personal bias. But this time, they have listened to me complain about how fucking insane our Armor of Contempt is. Thank fucking God for this change. There's some changes in here I don't know if I'm like super as excited about, but this one, Jesus Christ. If you didn't have an AP value of 3, don't fucking show up in 10th edition, dude. Not only will you not be able to kill people, you won't even be able to do fucking damage, because literally half the factions in the game have Armor of Contempt. And you're going to stack it with smokescreen. You're going to stack it with cover. It's going to be a fucking nightmare. But we're nerfing stupid-ass Armor of Contempt, which gives me a warm, fuzzy feeling inside and makes me happy. I feel happy. So the new change is that Armor of Contempt and stratagems like it, stratagems of the same type. I'm going to move my microphone, so I apologize if there's a bump. I feel like I'm really close to it. Now only affect you for a single activation. So instead of saying until the end of the phase, you worsen the arm penetration characteristic of attacks targeting that unit by 1. Now you say until the attacking unit has finished making its attacks. So you can Armor of Contempt your opponent's big, scary unit, but you don't get it for the entire round. Go fuck yourself. Don't just, like, put a Land Raider in the middle of the table and assume it's going to live through everything, because it will. Play an actual game. Actually maneuver your models around the table. Oh, man. Demons might kill a Ballistus now? Yeah. Yeah, like, maybe we'll be able... Maybe Bird Flu is real, actually. Maybe Bird Flu can fight through a fucking, like, more than one Armor of Contempt at a time. On the flip side, though, Bird Flu did get hit. Stratagems that allowed you to set up closer than 3 inches... or 3 inches away, now always say 6 inches. And this says stratagems, but every effect, at least to my knowledge, unless they've missed one, every effect that allows units to set up 3 inches away has either been changed by this or independently. So I believe that there are no more 3-inch deep strikes in the entirety of Warhammer 40,000 anymore, period. It's all 6 inches now. Which is sad, because it does make Chaos Demons dramatically worse. But at least, I think, like, in my game yesterday, or my games over the weekend, I don't believe I used that stratagem once. Just like how things worked out. I think that's actually true. Yeah, I think that's literally true. So I think that 6 inches is probably fine. The thing that this stops you from doing is taking objectives with those units, those, like, close deep strikers. But that also means that people don't have to, like, contort themselves to screen out objectives, so the game's going to play, like, in a more reasonable place. We don't have to answer that annoying question of, like, how big is a 40 millimeter base? Is it 40 millimeters? Because that was important for standing in the center of an objective. Did they change True Line of Sight? They did not. Which is weird because, like, they've changed True Line of Sight every single update except for this one. Maybe they finally like found a wording that they like. So, like, you like it and you main Grey Knights? Yeah, I think, I don't know. I'm of two minds of the stratagem change, the 3-inch deep strike change. I personally didn't have a problem with 3-inch deep strikes. Maybe that's biased because I play a lot of demons, but also, like, not playing demons, like, it forced you to set up situations where you could punish your opponent from 3-inch deep striking, but it's very hard to screen, and that, like, never felt, like, egregious to me. But I understand that some armies that are a low model count would have a huge trouble with it. You know what I mean? When I was playing Eldar, it was a real problem, for example. But the factions that I typically play, I don't think had as much of an issue dealing with it as some factions did. And so for that, in that context, I think it's probably sort of balances things out a little bit. Eldar were unplayable, yeah. Yeah, because they're just so low mono count, they can't screen. But I don't know if that's going to change super much. Like a 50% in your denial range is still huge. The amount of area that your opponent opens to reserve into is, like, enormous with a 6-inch versus a 3-inch. I think the biggest thing is that it, like, stops you from being able to hit lone operatives, like, instantly, and it also stops you from being able to like, take objectives as easily. But you can most likely with 6-inch versus 3-inch deep strikes, like, find a way to score secondaries, for example, especially, like, Battle Round 3 onwards. Almost nobody can screen their whole deployment zone from a 6-inch deep strike on Battle Round 3. 1 or 2, maybe. But once people start getting fighting and having to complete their own secondaries, like, it gets very difficult. And then those abilities are still fine. So, like, I don't think it's going to be as big of a deal as it feels like it is right now. But I feel like I will personally miss it, but I think that's personal. That's personal opinion. Thick Shroud Runners? It's because Shroud Runners are Chads, dude. 7 attacks and lethal hits? Are you kidding me? What the hell? I'm glad they're finally seeing play, because it feels like that data sheet like flew under the radar for ages. Alright, let's talk about some factions, chat. Adepta Sororitas. So Sisters and Genestealer Cult both basically got like... Genestealer Cult got an entire Cult Ambush rework again. They cannot figure out what to do with that fucking ability, but I think it works much better now. I like the new version. We'll talk about that later. But Adepta Sororitas got a huge change to Miracle Dice. You now gain Miracle Dice at the start of the battle round, not the start of the turn. And at the end of the phase, if one or more Sisters units from your army are destroyed. It's not each time a Sisters unit from your army is destroyed. So this basically cuts the amount of Miracle Dice that they'll get in like half. In addition, Triumph of St. Catherine now flips a Miracle Dice gained to the 6 instead of gaining an additional Miracle Dice that is a 6. So that's huge. So you went from getting 10 Miracle Dice over the course of the game naturally, plus 1 for each casualty, to getting 5 naturally, and probably like plus 1/2 to 1/3 for each casualty, depending on what stage of the game you're at. But it maybe sort of counterintuitively for Adepta Sororitas, which tend to be very aggressive. It does like kind of force you to play a more cagey game plan where you don't like throw your entire army into your opponent's face all at once and then be like, hey, kill me, I'm going to generate Miracle Dice so my second wave kills you. Because you only want to be giving him a limited number of attacks. I do feel like it's probably going to like maybe benefit the tank builds more. So I don't know if anything's changing on that front, but it is what it is. Misspelled Catherine. Oh my god, they did. What the? They also, there's like a weird capital, this like capital IF in this one. It feels like I don't know, they copy pasted from somewhere and then like forgot to change it. I wonder if this was like an autocorrect thing. It was like the spell checker's like, Catherine's not spelled with a K. What are you talking about? It's a C. And then like some person was just like, I'll flip it. How many arguments are people gonna have that this actually doesn't apply because it's misspelled? You think we'll have that? You don't think we're gonna have that question? And here's the other question, chat. Should we go along with it? They changed the wrong enhancement in Dark Angels. Why does GW hate Imperial agents? They don't. It's just not an actual faction. So back in War Machine, we used to have this faction called Mercenaries. I'll talk about War Machine days when I was a little tyke. It was a mercenary faction made up entirely of units you could take in other factions. And it was made as like a cool lore thing. But the understanding was that it was never going to be as powerful as other factions. And everyone just accepted that. And if you were a mercenary player and you were good at it, it was very impressive. But it wasn't a real faction because everything was designed to synergize elsewhere. And that's what Imperial Agents is. So like complaining that Imperial Agents are underpowered is very silly. You're gonna F off if you're if you're arguing about the Tridents of Catherine? I don't know, maybe. There was a time I think where I would have ruled that doesn't apply. Maybe I still will. I haven't decided yet. Get fucked, GW. Learn to spell. Fervent Purgation inside Bringers of Flame. Now only adds +1 to the strength characteristic of weapons if you're within 6 inches. Ugh. It's much tougher when you don't have as much access to 6s on your miracle pool, and you also have to get closer. So you need to get your units in closer. It's crazy. Blazing Iron, Cleansing Flames changes 2. One of those is the Devastating Wounds one, and I don't know what the other one is. I'm sure a Sisters player in chat can tell me. Cleansing Flames is devastating wounds. And Blazing Ire is you can reactive shoot. They tend to price reactive shots at 2. Although not in the Ironstorm one, for whatever reason. So that's not too surprising. And they also do the same with devastating wounds, which I actually don't agree with. That should stay at 1. Because you're only firing hand flamers.
Ryan G donated $5 through Super Chat. Iron Father Feroz. The Chad Dad we all needed. Also, if you took only the units he buffed, still better than Agent's Tongue.
Ryan G, thank you for the super chat. Yeah, I read the Codex Marine changes. We'll definitely get into those. Definitely feels much better. I don't know if it's enough to make them playable, but it at least gives you something for playing Codex Marines rather than, or at least the compliant chapters rather than just being like just cucked. Rites of Fire is +1 to wound. It's used in your shooting phase on Adepta Sororitas unit to disembark and transport that turn until the end of the phase. Each time your unit makes a ranged attack that previously targeted an enemy within 12, now within 6. It is also in range of an objective marker, add 1 to the wound roll. And then if you destroy a model, they must take a battle shock attack. That's like 7 different riders. I don't know why we're nerfing it. Yeah, just getting annihilated here. The interesting thing is, like, were Bringers of the Flame even the most popular detachment? I actually want to... let's pull up our old friends over at StatCheck over here. I wonder what the play rate is on Adepta Sororitas detachments. Although they were at a 50% win rate. I don't really understand where we're nerfing it. Yeah, Hallowed Martyrs had a higher win percentage. Alright, it had the highest play rate, I guess. So it probably was still more powerful. I think the players running Hallowed Martyrs were probably much better. Bringers of the Flame is like easier to play, and so it was probably a wider distribution of players playing it. That's fascinating. But I don't even know if Bringers like was after the previous round of changes where they nerfed at the October update where they points increased basically everything you took in the detachment, and the detachment costs like 250 points more. I don't even know if Bringers of the Flame was the best detachment for Sisters anyway. And it's just, like, been nuked from orbit. This feels very heavy-handed. Penitent Host. Oh, a buff per Penitent Host, though. Amazing. Start of the battle round, you can select a Vow of Atonement. Previously, you were required to, which meant that if you couldn't use them by the end of battle round 3, you lost your detachment ability. You can select a Vow of Atonement. That's amazing. All right, Penitent Host. You get a little something. Now, an interesting question. Here we go. I'm actually going to open up the Munitorum Field Manual real quick here. Because one thing that they have been doing, I noticed... oh, no, we just got nerfed. All right, just kidding. But one thing that they have been doing is taking really, really powerful units and increasing their... like, giving them buffs. And then also increasing their points value. So stuff that's, like, right on the cusp, they were like, hey, let's make you better to justify making you more expensive. There's a couple of examples where they did that. Which sound really weird... when you look at them, but on face value, but when you look at the points values, makes total sense, and we'll talk about some of those. Heavy Intercessor is a great example, yeah. It's much worse than the Salamander detachment. I agree. 100%, yeah. I think also, like, the detachment, I mean, maybe that's part of the problem, right? Is that it's synergized so well with, like, Sister's abilities. The way the faction plays just, like, played really well into how Bringers played, which is one of the reasons it was, like, so silly. But I feel like CP cost increases and also range restrictions on top of an army roll nerf feels too much. I think you could have just hit the army roll and called it a day, to be perfectly honest, and then maybe hit some of the stratagems that you felt were too strong. Although were like people still keep killing people with the devastating wound strat? I don't know. I haven't seen that in a while. Felt like most breakers lists were just 9 vehicles. All right, Adeptus Custodes. Let's a bunch of Dawn Eagle jetbike shield buffs. So here's an interesting thing, is that Dawn Eagle jetbikes actually got a points increase. One of the worst data sheets in the fucking game got a points increase, but that's because they have wildly improved their top line profiles. So every jetbike got +1 toughness and +1 wound. Full stop. Shield captains and Virtus Praetors, +1 toughness, +1 wound. Holy shit. Is this a good data sheet now? I don't know. The other thing is that you also now their mortal wound ability triggers on normal moves. Previously it was only advanced moves, so you took your like 400 point brick of morons and then advanced them and did a couple mortal wounds and gave up your ability to shoot your hurricane bolters and also charge with your lances. Like, whoever wrote that ability had never actually played a game of 40k in their fucking life. But now it's much better. Their salvo launchers, I think, if I remember correctly, they went up 1 strength, AP, and damage. I'm going to verify that. They also have twin linked now. Their hurricane bolters also got +1 AP and damage. So these things like actually shoot really well. Their salvo launchers were previously... they were previously 9-2-3, and now they're 10-3-D6 +1. So +1 strength, +1 AP, and probably +1.5 damage on average. And then also the Hurricane Bolter is huge. However, their new points value is 75 points a model. Which, to be honest, chat, feels really, really good. I think this unit's good now. I'm a level with you. Yeah. Shield host is... Oh, that's true! 5-point ignore cover. Ooh! That's actually disgusting. And even just like Dawn Eagle Jetbike Shield Captains being more reasonable in general is really good, because they're probably one of the best places to put offensive enhancements because they're so good at delivering them. Yeah, I think Virtus Praetors are back, ladies and gentlemen. So it is only 75 points a model. I actually had to double take at that. I thought the increase was bigger. Yeah. Wild. The Dawn Eagle Shield Captain did go up 20, though, to be fair. So he's worth 2 other Virtus Praetors, which if you're not dropping an enhancement, I guess he gives you like the fight and fade, basically, which is really good. So that's important. Yeah, anti-tank that's not Forge World. Yeah, thank God. And it's like good anti-tank, right? Like you'll probably convert a salvo launcher hit for 5 or 6 damage, and then also get a charge in and probably kill whatever you've softened up out of a unit of 3, most likely. It just feels solid, chat. All right. Let's talk about Adeptus Mechanicus. I don't think they got any changes, actually. Yeah, I don't believe Adeptus Mechanicus has changed at all. Eldar, no changes. Let's go. Astra Militarum. Astra Militarum got fucking a dumpster. They got taken out back and shot. They were summarily executed by the Commissar. For their crimes, I guess. Although, this makes a lot more sense than Adepta Sororitas getting nerfed like 7 times in a row. So, let's go. So, Lord Solar Leontis can now only issue order to regiment and squadron units. It's all ogre. He can no longer issue to... He can't issue to super heavies anymore, right? So there's no way to issue orders to them. I'm gonna double check myself on that. Which I think just like kills all the super heavy builds. Which, to be fair, were very rare. But it is sad. Yeah, they are not squadron units. It also, he can't issue orders to auxiliaries. He can't issue orders to, like, 40% of the faction. Which probably means that I think the Tempestus Scion lists are probably much better. Although I don't know if there's a bunch of points increases to the army too, because he doesn't feel that he's quite as necessary if he can't issue orders to whatever you need to. He is like the most efficient order battery, but you can build sort of similar things out of like Ursula Creed and other like 2 order officers if all you're doing is just ordering to regiments. Yeah. Lord Solar took the Ogren and Bulgren now. I think that Ogren are probably still playable because I have a, it was, I don't think super rare common that like the capacity to order them was meaningful to their value just because they were like super cheap. Assuming that they have not changed, they haven't been nerfed. Let's go down to our thing here. Look at all this red chat. Oh, their 10-man squad got nerfed. Weird. Wait, why? They nerfed the 10, but not the 3? Or the 6-man, sorry, but not the 3? That's bizarre. Okay. You can't order it anymore. There's no reason to take them at 6s. Alright, I don't know. There's nothing that synergizes with them. I don't... Also, Lord Solar Lantis went up in points value. He got nerfed, he went up in value. Okay. It's the old GW double tap. The 1-2. What your like main ability that people play you for is like super like mediocre now? Get fucked. You might still take him in, I guess in vehicle lists is he still good because you can order Rogaldorns and stuff. I think that's the capacity in which you take him because there's no other really easy access to squadron orders. Regiment orders you have coming out your ass, but squadron orders are very rare. So I think that's where he wants to get played. But it does feel like you can sort of separate the army into the regiment units that's like the Nemo build, where you have like hundreds of dropping infantry, versus the squadron build where you probably still take Lord Solar. Which I guess is good, but it does feel bad. It feels bad for all the interesting units that he buffed. Hopefully there's like support for them in the future, but they are getting a codex, so like this is probably, to be honest, not even in play for that long, because I imagine a lot of these mechanics are going to be rewritten. Imagine Lord Solar ordering the Baneblade. Yeah, he's trying to master Vox in there, and they're like, we're on a different frequency, sir. You have to switch to the Baneblade channel. And he's like, I don't know which one that is. Or even better, he's like, all right, Baneblade, I'm gonna need you to take aim at that target. And the tank commander's like, sir, I outrank you. Oh man. Changes for the detachments that's coming. Yeah, we'll see how the detachment works. I wouldn't like mauled out quite yet if I was a Militarum player. It probably feels really bad, but like you're about to get so many new releases that I imagine that none of this stuff sticks for very long. Tempestus Aquilons, as I said before, they got this movement phase change, which we saw at WCW. They also got changed so that you can no longer set up within 3 inches or outside 3 inches of enemies. It's now 6 inches, just like everything else in the game. Blood Angels, no changes. They did get a bunch of points breaks though, which I guess is good for them. Blood Angels are like super mid. Which is weird because their detachments are fucking phenomenal, but things like Sanguinary Guard are just like not converting very well. Black Templars Repulsor Executioner went up to carrying 7 infantry models. So you could put you can put a Blade Guard unit inside it. That's kind of fun. Crusader Squad's melee weapons went up to AP1 on combat knives. Yeah, they've increased the melee profile of combat knives by 1, in Space Marine combat knives specifically. I wonder if that's like a Space Marine 2 callback, because the combat knife in Space Marine 2 is like single target damage, and it feels really weird it's AP0 in this game. Thinking about cooking catechins at 350 for 5 minutes and spraying them pink for a Horrors army? Because they got a points upgrade increase? I don't know if I would like... like break down over 10 points on your like hyper efficient scout infantry. This like I don't really understand the Hellhound going up. It's really good, but like it's like a 0 to 1. Cadian Shock Troopers going up is like weird too. Who played those guys? you can't put platoon command squads in them. They don't get mortars. Kind of weird. Chimera up, yeah, that does make sense. But let's be real, chat. I'm gonna be honest with you, chat. Fuck transports. Every transport should cost 900 points. And also be legended, so I don't know. Play like regular 40k like everyone else, where your units aren't invincible. I think it's okay if transports get a little bit more expensive. Chaos Knights. Harbingers of Dread got changed. Each model from your army with the ability has the following Dread abilities. Oh, they just have all of their things active. They don't have to wait till a certain battle round to unlock them. Well, that's good, I guess. Their detachment, their army ability was kind of whatever. Put into contact, catechins are not equal in points of term against. Yeah, and which one would you rather have? The unit that gets 2 flamers per 10 and scouts and gets orders, or the unit that has like a weird reactive move and like no offensive capacity besides Webbers? Probably the catechins, chat. Transports should only be restricted to land raiders. Yes, please. Ghost Ark and Warriors went down. Yeah, I don't like. The Ghost Ark is like a weird transport because you don't really actually use it as a transport. It's just there to... It's like a support unit. You could probably remove transport from the Ghost Ark and it would like basically act the same. Because like if you're building warrior units, you're building 20s and so they don't fit in the Ghost Ark anyway. Not that I think it's okay. I think transport mechanics in 10th edition are like fucking insanely busted, but at least like I don't know, there's a little bit of there's some sort of rationale. Just delete them. Just get them. Just get it off the datasheet. That would make me happier. The horse gun, but the horse penis. This is a nice quality of life for Chaos Knights. The one thing I don't really understand is why we're buffing Chaos Knights though. Because like they were at a good win rate, right? Oh no, their win rate sucked. What? Alright, it didn't suck. It just wasn't good. But like they won a bunch of GTs. Like I don't really understand why we are buffing Chaos Knights. They're also getting like they have a new detachment that's like not bad. I don't know. Aura of Terror changed. I think just to be consistent with the objective secure wording, until your opponent's level of control over the objective is greater than yours at the end of any phase. Yeah, so that is it's just sort of a boilerplate change. That's how it worked because of the rules commentary, but it wasn't actually represented in the text. Chaos Knights were winning in spite of their detachment. Yeah, I mean I think that is true for sure. Trader's Mark. What was the previous wording on Trader's Mark? Literally, I don't know any of the Chaos Knight enhancements besides Panoply of the Cursed Knight and Aura of Terror. Lord of Dread. Previously, it was at the start of the fight phase. Now it's in your movement phase. Okay, so you can... and it used to be an engagement range, and now it's 12 inches. Okay, so I think that went from being an unplayably bad enhancement to being maybe playable on the fringes, although it's probably really expensive still. Are there any changes to Chaos Knight enhancements? We'll talk about how ridiculous their points changes were otherwise, because they are a little silly. I can't find them. Stars, Blood Angels, Chaos Demons, Chaos Knights. It did go down. Oh, shit. That's a really good enhancement, actually. 15 points and you become a Neurolictor? Okay. Jesus. Wait, are Chaos Knights, like, actually insane? Hold up. It's, yeah, you're literally just a Neurolictor. Also, it's in movement phase. It's not command. You could do it and then move, or move and then do it. It's not start of phase. Its timing is unlocked. Wait, this enhancement's nuts. What? Jesus. I don't understand. I don't understand why this is so good. Do you make Neurolictors do that? GW, what are you doing? Why are they cost fucking 90 points? Okay. Chaos Space Marines, Dread Talons, changed their 3-inch Deep Strike to a 6-inch Deep Strike. Okay. Predator Annihilators. So Predator Annihilators, game-wide, have gotten reroll damage against monsters and vehicles instead of reroll ones on your damage roll, which was basically a blank ability. But reroll damage rolls is unironically good, so I love it. You'd love to see it. Maybe we will see a Predator Annihilator played one time, but I don't know. I still kind of doubt it. Chaos Demons are identical, except for Screamers. So this is what I'm talking about with units getting... like playable units getting a mechanical increase to justify a points increase. So Screamers have actually gotten a pretty hefty points increase. I'm gonna sneeze, so give me a sec. Muted myself right in time. Here they are. So, Screamers were previously 75 points per unit. They went up 10. I think they were probably too good at 75, having been playing them. They felt like sort of nuts. They're hard to kill and incredibly fast and do mortal wounds and like are the best utility unit in 40k. I don't know. 85 feels much better for them, but the downside is that like their offensive profile for that cost sucked. So they got +1 weapon skill and anti-monster, anti-vehicle 4. So they do a lot more damage now. And I actually think that Fate Skimmer play might be good. I believe Fate Skimmers give them devastating wounds. Am I about to talk myself into playing a Fate Skimmer? I think I might. Oh no, they get lethal hits. Just kidding. Oh, they have devastating wounds, but they get lethal hits. Alright, well that's not good. That's actually anti-synergistic. Just kidding. Alright. Well, never mind. But, I mean, it's nice. In the instances in which you will take a Screamer over a Fleshhound unit, which I think is the other, like, option for just a really good utility unit, which has a higher model count, but is slower, so it's like a trade-off. Screamers will be better into hard targets, and that just feels great. I don't know. I think this is like a good side grade. They've just been side graded. Yeah, it's not really a buff. It's definitely a side grade. Not too bad because demons have tons of other agility. Yeah. So the interesting thing about demons is that like you can look down their datasheet roster. They have like this sliding scale of utility units, right? So like flamers are small infantry units. They cost 75. Fleshhounds cost 70, which are faster. But much larger, like physically larger. Seeker Chariots are 65, which are even faster, but are mounted, so they can't go through walls. And then Screamers were like the apex at 75, and were fast and small, and did damage. So Screamer, if you had the points for Screamers, they were better than everything. But you'll probably just move to Fleshhounds, unless you have the points to upgrade to Screamers, in which case you'll also have like this beat stick unit that can like chip in for 4 or 5 damage on something. Which I think is fine. Like demons, it's funny because like demons have all these big chunky units, so it's hard to like finesse points. But the way you do it is you like upgrade or downgrade your utility. Like, oh, do the Fleshhounds turn into a Seeker Chariot so I can afford to turn this one into a Screamer? Okay, that's like the arithmetic. Fleshhounds have to pay for rotation. Yeah, 1 inch because they're beasts. But honestly, like, it doesn't really matter that much. In my games with them, I've never really noticed it. Like, paying an inch for rotation is basically the same as rotating normally, so I think it might actually just benefit them. All right. I feel like we should talk about Space Marines, like, holistically. See if there's any other changes. Drukhari, no. Deathwatch. Oh, let's talk about Genestealer Cult, and then we'll go back and talk about Dark Angels and everything. Let's talk about Genestealer Cults, chat. Look at this. Look at all this red text here. Oh my god. Full detachment roll rework. Holy shit. So instead of rolling randomly like a silly goose when you are rolling your cult ambush, you instead have a resource called Resurgence Points. Your units cost... You start in a Strike Force game, you start with 10 Resurgence Points. And your units, when destroyed, cost a certain number of Resurgence Points to enter Cult Ambush. So instead of your units dying, and then you're rolling for them to see randomly if they Cult Ambush, you can bank on them Cult Ambushing to a limited extent, which is super fucking cool. I think this, like, you can build lists around it. Hey, what are we resurging this game? It is only 5 models that you can use it on, so other things will not recur. But I guess like a lot, actually there's a lot of stuff that costs the same. So I think actually it probably covers almost the entire faction. Just kidding. I didn't realize that like metamorphs were included in this. So yeah, I actually don't know if there's anything that doesn't get included. So I think we're okay. Just kidding. So aberrants cost you, so again, most games we're going to start with 10 Resurgence Points. Aberrants cost you 5 or 8 for a large model unit. So your army ability basically becomes recur 1 aberrant unit, like 1 big aberrant unit or 2 little aberrant units over the course of the game. Acolytes and metamorphs cost 2 for a 5 model and 4 for a 10 model. So you could recur like 5 model Acolyte hybrid squads over the course of the game if you wanted to. Attilan Jekylls cost you 3 for 5 or 6 for 10, but nobody plays 10, so it's fine. Neophyte Hybrids cost you 3 for 10 or 6 for 20. Beerstrain Genestealers cost you 3 for 5 or 6 for 10. When you spend the points, a new identical army gets added into your identical unit gets added into your army. All your one-shot weapons return, and you place a Cult Ambush marker. They have specified that Cult Ambush is strategic reserve. You can't be targeted by rapid ingress, but then you get set up, I believe, exactly as they had previously, right? They specify that Cult Ambush markers are 32 millimeter, and then you can like rapid ingress them on the Cult Ambush marker, or I don't know if they have removed the deep strike part. Maybe they have, actually. Because that is part of the ability, and they said they're changing the ability. So I actually believe that they removed the part where you can deep strike. If an enemy model ends any kind of move within 9 of a Cult Ambush marker you place, that Cult Ambush marker is removed from the battlefield. At the end of the reinforcement step of your opponent's next movement phase, for each Cult Ambush marker still on the battlefield, you can select 1 unit from your army that is in Cult Ambush, set it up using the Cult Ambush marker. To do so, set up that unit on the battlefield more than 9 inches away from all enemy units with at least 1 model touching the ambush marker. All other models placed wholly within 3 inches of it. Yeah, so I think that you straight up can't deep strike them anymore. Oh, no, just kidding. You could just deep strike them normally. Okay, yeah, it actually doesn't need the warbing. I'm working through it. Sorry, chat. Yeah, it doesn't... No, yeah, so the reason that they still deep strike, chat, is a little... It's a little convoluted. The reason they still deep strike is because they use the rules for strategic reserves. And strategic reserves say that if you have deep strike, you can be set up in your movement phase using the deep strike rules. So it's a Cult Ambush, which is a strategic reserve, which allows you to operate like a deep striker. It's 3 levels deep. We're incepting Deep Strike onto these units. So if you have Deep Strike on your data sheet, because it's a strategic reserve ability, then in your reinforcement step, you can set them up 9 inches away from enemies anywhere on the battlefield. All the normal Deep Strike stuff. They don't need that in the rule because that is that's part of the strategic reserve rules. The use case of the cult ambush markers is that they, like the previous version, they come in your opponent's movement phase. So you can rapid ingress them off of the cult ambush marker, or you can deep strike them normally if they have deep strike. Or you could just bring them in out of strategic reserve. So if you're a jackal, for example, you could just come off the table edge. I believe. Although they have like a special rule that might preclude that. That's a little complex, but it is what it is. At least it doesn't like use its own reserve mechanics anymore, so everyone gets to ask whether or not they're a reinforcement. Yeah, no, I believe that Adel and Jackals will literally just show up off the table edge. Like normal. Yeah. Right. They don't rapid ingress, but they rapid ingress. You gotta look at the air quotes. They teleport Homer off of the cult ambush tokens at the end of your opponent's movement phase. It's the same timing as rapid ingress, but it's restricted to the ambush token. Just like the previous version. That hasn't changed. That's the same. Cult ingress, yeah. Tunnel crawler changed to 6 inches away from enemies. Normal stuff. Dang rules. Codexes should be strictly digital. Yeah. Don't get us started on the codex system, chat. Outlander Claw has been changed. Genestealer Cult Melted or vehicle models add 1 to their objective control about a characteristic. Thank God. They're no longer double. You don't have OC6 Ridge Runners. In addition, Adel and Jackals have OBSEC. They're changing the OBSEC rules to be the same as all the other OBSEC rules, which is good. Xenocreed Congregation Detachment needs to speak to the masses. You start with 2 additional resurgence points. That is an enhancement. That's actually sick. You get a free unit, basically. For whatever it is, 15 or 20 points or something. Because that used to be +1... Or it was reroll cult ambush rolls, which when you started using enough enough of them, it got kind of insane. We actually saw that win a GT a couple weeks ago. 25 points. It used to be reroll for battle line units called ambushing if you're on the battlefield, which was like kind of insane. That was nutty. Literally like doubling the chance that your entire army comes back to life. And so you just got to like throw waves of idiots at your enemy. But now you just get a free unit, so that's cool. In the words of Jack Harpster, reading is for you nerds. You just outed yourself. Listen, I love Jack with all of my heart. But if that man is not a nerd, I don't know what is. I love Snacks Harpster. All right, let's see. Demolition charges have had their range increased. Probably because they don't do any damage anymore. So maybe people will play them. They're like, please, God, stop playing 5 hand flamers and killing everyone. play some demolition charges and kill yourself. And they're like, no, I will keep flaming you, probably. So that's cool. And it says that Kellermorph changed, but I don't know. Oh, the Kellermorph reactive fire changed to be within 9 inches instead of 12. That's interesting. So you can actually just shoot that guy. Ooh, that's way worse. Wait, the Kellermorph sucks now. Hold up. It used to be that in order to attack him, you had to trigger his reactive move. And now you don't. So he'll just die, probably. Well, it is what it is. Cool. That was fun. Let's see if they have any points changes. Abominant went up. Ridge Runners went up. Fair enough. 20 points, but they do reanimate themselves, so it is like, it's pretty good. I don't know. Chaos Knights Sacrifice Detachment. I think it's cool as hell, dude. I think that detachment is super duper rad, for sure. Imperial Agents. Calexis Assassin can only etheric emergence in your movement phase. That makes everyone sad. Oh, did they do that to the Trigon? I wonder if they did. Ooh, that would kill the whole Trigon. Does Crusher Stampede destabilize if you nerf the Trigon? Maybe. Alright. Let's see. Necrons. Annihilation Legion gets +1 AP when it makes a ranged attack targeting the closest enemy, so that you actually have a bonus for your ranged destroyers and not literally just Scorpex and Flayed Ones. So that's kind of nice. Hyperphasing looks like it has been reduced. You can now hyperphase one less model, so that's actually a huge change. You basically have to take a Dimensional Tyrant in that detachment now. Although, to be fair, I don't know how often you picked up all 4 units out of the hyperphase. At least when I played it, or when I've seen it played, you almost never use the enhancement to pick up an extra guy. It's just for like the one turn where you needed to. So I actually don't know if this is a huge nerf, but it's definitely gonna stop like the whole Silent King brick from like picking up in addition to like a Tesseract Vault, right? Where you pick up like a TSK and also 2 Doomsday Arcs and also a Vault, and then position the Vault back in. Just pretend Star Shatter is not a thing if you're trying a Locust and Annihilation Legion. Yeah, that's true. Yeah, I'll be curious to see whether Star Shatter survives more than a couple weeks, to be honest. Orks. Big change for Orks. The thing that we've been asking for literally a whole year has finally occurred. Your WA's called in your command phase. It is your command phase, which is fine, right? I wish it was a command phase, and then it lasted until that player's next command phase. Because you can't use it defensively anymore, which is, I think, unfortunate. Which is why it was the start of Battle Round timing previously, because then if we go second, you were like, this sucks. Your command phase is a much better timing. Can't complain. Realistically, cannot complain. They did change the Beast Snagga detachment, the Big Hunt. You can now choose any character unit to be your prey. You reroll charge rolls, provided one of your targets is a prey. It's a nice little quality of life update. Since the beginning of 10th? Yeah, that's true. But I think we all assumed it would change in the codex, and then it didn't. We were like, excuse me? Wait a minute, hold up. What? You kept the wording the same? But why? That's so weird. Alright. And then more Space Marine stuff that we will talk about in a second. I believe that is basically everything. Predator Destructor has changed to get the reroll. Tyranids. Hey, Assimilation Swarm! Assimilation Swarm to regenerate D3 plus 1 wounds. Cool, man. Oh, that'll be good now. Trigons did get nerfed. I think into unplayability, probably. You can no longer rapid ingress to subterranean tunnels. Ugh. Yuck. Okay. Sorry, Tyranids. You flew too close to the sun. A 50% win rate? Trash. Get out of here. Nerfed you again. Oh, the Norn Assimilator got Harvester. Cool. Let's go. The one thing everyone did ask that question. Why is the thing called an Assimilator, not a Harvester? That is good. Assimilation no longer requires me to be on objective. Oh, they deleted the objective part? Oh, okay. Well, that might be playable then. Let's look at the old wording. Yeah, so previously it was a unit from your army. They deleted that is within range of an objective marker you control. And just replace it with can regenerate from the unit. Alright, okay. That is much better. So now you can, like, you're running your, like, random Pyrobors and Rippers around and they can actually regenerate people. The problem, I don't think that they've changed the heart of the problem, though, which is that nothing in Tyranids is going to survive, like, a round. So it doesn't matter. Except, unless you're a Tyrannofex. Like, a Tyrannofex, Maliceptor, you might live for a round. But none of the infantry units will survive if your opponent's shooting at them. The simulator regens itself to 3+1 every turn? Yeah, but it's gonna die, though. Like, that's the issue. Yeah, also Tyranids don't do damage. Assimilation Swarm, I will say, Assimilation Swarm does have okay damage. You can get +1 to wound when you lose a Harvester. You also have the enhancement for +1 strength. And +1 strength and attacks. Parasitic biomorphology. So, like, it fights okay. But only the big monsters are the tough ones. So it's just a different version of Crusher Stampede. It's like a backloaded version of Crusher Stampede. Instead of buffing yourself for taking damage, you're hoping you live and then healing yourself. Right? So you're like adding hit points instead of adding efficiency. Which is like, I don't know, just different. Can't regen if you're dead, it's true. It's almost like armies need keywords. New warrior detachment can do damage, it's true. Do a little bit of damage. The warrior detachment seems fine. Although it is much better in infantry sweeping than it is like killing big stuff. But, I don't know. It's good. Psychophage does negative damage? Yeah, that's not why the Psychophage is there, though. The Psychophage is there just to buff you. I mean, honestly, especially if you can run the Psychophages around and heal people, you take 3 of them, like, every time, right? There's, like, no way that you're not just eating a bunch of Psychophages up with your army. And if your opponent tries to kill them, you're like, fine. You can kill the Psychophage, which is basically just healing my army anyway, because I'm not taking damage on the units I care about. I'm taking them on this, like, cheap idiot who has a 5+ feel no pain. Maybe even a 4+ feel no pain. Alright, chat. Let's talk about Space Marines. Let's start with the regular Space Marines. So, I am a little worried. I'm a little worried about this clause. Can we make it bigger? I'm a little worried about this text. Right here. I'm a little worried that that's going to be really broken, chat. I think that might be too good. I think that we are no longer worried about Space Marines surviving as long and more worried about them killing everything. I have a sneaking suspicion that this might just mean that you never play any of these. They might have flipped the script. Hey, instead of never playing any of the non-compliant stuff, we're just never gonna play any of, or never playing any of the compliant stuff. We're just never gonna play any of the non-compliant stuff because you get +1 to wound if you're non-compliant. What the fuck? Wait, my Land Raider Redeemer always gets +1 to wound now? I don't have to like play weird Firestorm stuff to do that? Ultramarine Ironstorm will go nuts. Yeah, I think Ultramarines... there's also a Gilliman buff in here. I think Ultramarines are unironically just the best they're the best sub-faction in Space Marines for sure. They might just be the best faction in the game now. I don't know if it's even close. like Space Marines, Ultramarine Vanguard was like really good, and now just has like this enormous buff applied to it too. What the fuck? What's happening right now? We fixed Ultramarines. Tau can't split fire though. Yeah, it does feel like I don't know why there's like this huge predominance of like emphasis on the like the Space Marine thing. I think that the thing we were talking about where like maybe we add some abilities to the non-compliant chapters or something like that. This does not feel like the way we wanted to go, right? We were like, hey, let's add an ability to Corsaro Khan so there's a reason to play White Scars. And they were like, hey, what if the entire army get +1 to wound? Well, that's certainly a reason to play White Scars, but it also works for Ultramarines, and it's probably super busted. I don't know. I'm no expert, but that sounds like a pretty good ability to have. Yeah. Someone get Ultramarines a supplement codex, please. Get all the compliance Space Marine chapters like, get away, Gilliman, get out of here. Oh my god. There's nothing stopping you from playing a vanilla list with no blood and specific units. Use Liberator and get +1 to wound on oath. That's true, actually. Yeah, you could just play the special detachments. Although, like, is that better than playing like Gladius? I feel like Gladius is so good that you would just play Gladius, but I don't know. I'm not an expert. Gilliman found tax evasion. So anyway, chat, I for one welcome our new Space Marine Overlord. So literally I was like, I have a tournament this weekend that I was gonna go to. We'll see how I feel about it on Friday. And I was like, hey, as soon as I read that, I was like, what would it take for me to 3D print a Space Marine army? Could I play Ultramarines this weekend? The answer is probably not, but fuck me, dude. I don't know. I think it's all Space Marines all the time for the next couple weeks. Let's talk about the rest of it. It looks like Fire Discipline. The Fire Discipline combo has finally been basically eradicated. Pun intended. While you're leading a unit, you get sustained hits 1 and Devastator Doctrine. You reroll advance rolls. Okay, so that is it. I don't want to like. Obviously, +1 to wound, huge. I do think this is also a huge loss, especially for non-compliant chapters that don't get anything, in return for it. The Fire Discipline enhancement was like one of the biggest sort of sources of damage in the entire faction, and it's been removed. I wonder if I actually haven't looked. I wonder if it has been. Oh, Tyranids got a bunch of points breaks, actually. That's sick. Let's go. I wonder if it has been decreased in points value, because it was like 40 points. No, get fucked. Okay, all right. Well, you know what? Fair enough. Everybody strip your Fire Disciplines out of your units, I guess. Wild. That's funny. But we can take Lieutenant Titus now instead. There you go, to get sustained 1. Let's go. Captain of Gravis Armor, his mastercrafted bolt rifle's 3 damage now, sick. Here's the other thing. All of the compliant special characters, all the chapter master characters, got a little special ability that gives you +1 OC on their favorite unit types, which is cool. Well, if they're not battle shocked, they have an OC value of whatever they had +1. So for Lysander, it's OC2, and then you can improve that with Ancients and stuff as well too, because that's a characteristic replacement effect. Cave and Shrike affects Assault Intercessors with Jump Axe. That's actually really sick. I don't know if I internalized that, but I thought for a moment when that unit released, by the way, that it was OC2, because New Recruit had it wrong. And I was like, this is probably the best unit in 40k right now. It was not. But OC2 is a huge thing for this like little disruption unit that you're going to go try to take objectives with. They are more expensive than they were at that point, but I do think that that's actually a big deal. Cave and Strike's also sick too, by the way. For those who haven't seen Cave and Strike, he's probably the biggest downside is that you can't play Ultramarines with him. But if you could, you'd probably see him in every list. He's like a Calidus assassin that actually slaps super hard. Corsaro Khan gives Outrider squads OC3, and Outriders actually got a huge damage improvement, so they might actually be playable too. Pedro Cantor affects Sternguard Veteran squads with OC2. Kind of cool. I don't think it's very good, but I don't know. Kind of nice. Let's go. And then, Outriders changed to get +1 strength and damage when they charge, but they replaced Turbo Boost, so they lost their ability to auto 6 advances, and instead they literally do double damage, so that's super good. Which is good because they were stone unplayable. But I think that there is definitely an argument for like big units with chaplains now, because they go to strength 5 with +1 to wound, and you can like advance and charge and +1 AP. And Gladius Task Force, for example, they're swinging strength 5 +1 to wound OP.
Ryan G donated $2 through super chat. Cave on Shrike in a 10-man with oath. Hunger the bunga.
Unga the bunga. Yeah. Yeah, it's gonna be good, man. It's gonna be good. I honestly, I don't even think, because I don't even think that he necessarily needs a unit, to be fair. Like, I think he's actually okay by himself as well. Like, Caven's actually just good. But this is a unit that you are already maybe taking, and unlike a lot of these other units where you have to kind of like build around them, he just kind of buffs the army. Downside is that you're not playing Ultramarine, so I don't know. We'll see how we feel. All right, going down the line here. Heavy Intercessor squads. Heavy Bolt Rifles changed to 2 damage. Heavy Bolters got a 3+ ballistic skill. That's actually super legit now. That was like sort of something that I think people were asking for these guys, because they had literal, like, their just damage output was atrocious for their cost. Ironfather Fieros as well, we should talk about him. He improves your Heavy Intercessor squads to OC3 as well. So you have this tough unit that's ridiculously high OC and a good shooting battery. I think they might be actually playable. We might have crossed the threshold where this like horribly bad unit is actually playable now. Infernus squads got +1 AP. That's nice. And they get an OC bonus from Vulcan Heston, although it's okay. It's all right, I guess. Inceptor squads got their meteoric descent changed. Only work in your movement phase and be 6 inches away. Nobody's allowed to deep strike and do cool maneuver stuff. We always have to be far away from our opponents. Infernus squads now force a battle shock check at -1. Sick, dude. Let's go. Intercessor squads have a new ability. Each time the unit is selected to shoot, it can use this ability until the end of the phase. Add +2 attacks characteristic of bolt rifles equipped by models in the unit, and you can only select one enemy unit as the target of all of this unit's attacks. Jesus. Hold up. Wait, they shoot 4 times per model?
Spencer Connell donated $5 through super chat. 3D print teenage tyrant McCridge Terrors. 2 approves.
2 approves. Thank you, Texas Speech. Teenage Tyrant McCrag Terrors. Is it like Turtle Space Marines? Is that what we're doing? Dude, I would play the shit out of a Turtle Space Marine army. You know it. You know I would. Here's what I want to do. All right, ready? Here's my dream Space Marine chapter. I want to do a Space Marine chapter, but they're like lizard men from Age of Sigmar. Like with all the shoulder pads and weapons and stuff. That's what I want to do. I love lizard men. I love Space Marines. I want to put those two things together. This would be Nid inspired. What are Tyranids? Is that a faction in 40k? I haven't heard of them before. Rapid fire on rapid fire. Yeah, the double rapid fire. Why rapid fire when you could rapid your rapid fire? It's so funny because like that's not even a unit that was unplayed too. I don't know if that's like doing any damage though. This is the man. I love 2 minds here, chat. I have two thoughts. First of all, I don't know if Space Marines need +1 to wound and a million datasheet buffs. However, I fucking love this ability. I sort of wish they didn't have it, but I also love it. Because these are the kind of abilities that you need to add to make bolters good. And I think bolters should be good. I love rifle dudes. I think the game has an unfortunate dearth of men with guns. And it's all about tanks and weird fucking bizarre like super weapons. And I think like the Tempestus Scion list in Astra Militarum is like a cool example. I think this, like abilities like this are a cool example of ways to make like your little army dudes good. Because I think the game needs to make your little army dudes like more playable. And that's what I have to say about that, chat. I also think it's like kind of weird that we're buffing this faction that just got +1 to wound across the board, but wait, why didn't we go all the way with this? Why didn't we just give old oaths back to non-compliant? Like +1 to wound is good, but what if we rerolled all the wound rolls too? I don't know. But like 40 shots or 20 shots out of an intercessor squad, that's legit, right? Like they're infantry sweepers now. Turns out maybe tales of the reports of the horde meta were greatly exaggerated, and now we're looking at everybody getting killed by bolt guns. I don't know. 10 drop pod, 10 intercessors, 40 shots. You don't even need to drop pod them. They shoot 2 shots out to 24, right? They're not rapid fire. Yeah. They're assault, in fact. So, like... But, like, do you play 10 of them? 10's, like, so many. But even just playing 5s. 5 dudes shoot 20 times now. At AP1. Like... it makes me... It feels weird that they would make this change and also nerf the Fire Discipline combo. I think that what they should have done is made Fire Discipline affect... They should have returned it to Bolter Discipline and made it only affect bolt weapons. And then I think you take this Intercessor squad and you like stack a bunch of characters in it and they start killing vehicles with their bolt rifles. That's sick, dude. But I don't know. I think you will see these guys now, and they will just be good infantry sweepers for cheap. 20 attacks and then a bunch of melee attacks too, potentially, off the back, and OBSEC is like fucking nuts. For 80 points, are you kidding me? Are they still 80? They go up? I for Intercessor. Nope, they didn't go up. Infernus went up though. Fuck, really? Guys, we added +1 AP. Did you like it? Like, yeah, thank you, sir. Okay, good. Plus 2 points per model. That's so funny. Get absolutely shit on. Okay. So, chat, you could take 5 flamer dudes, or you could just have the same weapon, but they shoot 4 times in 24 inches. Which one will I take? Maybe I'll take the guys who shoot 24 inches instead of OBSEC for cheaper. That's fun. That's incredible. It's because they're in the starter set, and then you have to buy new stuff. You can't play the stuff out of the starter set. They can't be good. Jesus Christ. Yeah, MSU 5-mans is no joke. Yeah, it's. I mean, I don't think it's good enough to build an army out of, right? But I do think it's good enough to take 1 or 2 as utility, and then just like have them running around. Yeah. Anyway, well, Space Marines are good now, I guess. Now we know. All right. We talked about Outriders. Talked about Predators. Reaver squads now force a battle strike check of -1. I believe that their terror troops thing used to do -1 to battle shock, and now it's -1 OC. Is that right? Yeah, it used to be a 6-inch aura of -1 battle shock or leadership. Now it's a 3-inch aura of -1 OC. Seems fine. They also got +1 AP because all the combat knives went up by 1. And Repulsor Executioners now transport 7 models. Here's the Gilliman buff. You want to talk about Ultramarines? Let's buff Ultramarines. Gilliman now gets 2 of his Primarch abilities instead of 1. Cool. Okay, sure. Why not? Why don't we? Why don't we have a free strat and oath, and 2 oath targets? Why wouldn't we do that? That now will give you +1 to wound. Okay. Oh, I didn't even know this. I didn't even see this one. Sternguard do get old oaths back and are +1 to wound and reroll the wound roll so they can trigger their devastating more often. Jesus fucking Christ! Holy shit! All right, well, that Pedro Cantor buff might be legit, actually. Wait, can we just, like... Can we just play, like, fucking Gilliman and 30 Sternguard? Is that good? Ah! Give me my Sternguard data sheet. What did you do? Wow, PDY! No searchers. Oh, it has a U in it? Oh, okay. Weird. I didn't even notice that. Listen, for 350 points, if I get Gilliman's offensive profile and also 10 CP and also 2 oath targets every single fucking turn, I'm for sure gonna do that. Dude, what the fuck? Did these go up in points? They gotta have, right? Oh, Marnius Calgar went up. Thank God. Fuck that guy. They did go up. Alright, they went up 20. 200 points still feels like incredible for that. Are you serious? You have an almost permanent wound reroll on a unit entirely equipped with devastating weapons? Like, they shoot like 30 shots with devastating wounds and full rerolls? They also have a base AP, so if they just convert their attack, they'll like also wound you. Is this like also a use case for like Titus too? I think Titus might unironically be good now. He goes on the he goes in Sternguard, right? Let me double check though. I'm gonna check myself. Because if you can trigger sustained hits on a full like a wound rerolling devastating unit, it's actually amazing. Where the fuck is that guy? Okay, I found him. Lieutenant Titties. Sternguard Veteran Squad. Guys, we found him. We found his home. He gives you sustained hits in your Sternguard Veteran unit. What a Chad. What a Chadwick Boseman. They also wound reroll at melee too, and he has like 8 attacks. Azrael and Sternguard? Yeah, that's actually not too bad. They don't get the +1 to wound, but that's probably fine. I think any sustained hits outlet's gonna be nuts with these guys. I'm like unironically kind of into running fucking like mass Sternguard. Like I think you can just play 30 Sternguard and double oath and call it a day. What's like so like if you have sustains, does anything else give sustained hits? I want to say that I don't think they do, right? Do like what do librarians do? They give you reroll charges, right? And a 4+ invulnerable save. Uh, 4+ invulnerable save. There's no other way to get sustained hits, right? Besides enhancements. We could buy the 40-point enhancement for it. Just lethals, I think. Probably for the best, to be fair. Yeah, I don't see any. Only Terminator Librarians give sustain? Okay, well, that's good. That's good. Invasion fleet! That's very good, chat. Just play them in Invasion fleet. Deathwatch does. Interesting. Let's say for a moment that we're playing only Ultra Brains. So, assuming we have sustain on the sustain unit, should get 20 hits on their first roll, right? And then reroll their misses and get another, let's call it 2 6s. So they should get 24 hits plus 4, 28. Somewhere around 33 hits. 34 hits. And then if they're wound rerolling and fishing for devastating, they should get 6 and then reroll into like 4. So they should do like 10 mortals. Call it 5 and 4, so like 9. But like the sustained hit unit does like 9, and the other ones probably do like 6 or 7. So like 3 Sternguard Veterans, and that's not including a heavy bolter, by the way. You should get extra efficiency out of the heavy bolter, theoretically. So like you can probably round up to like 8 or 10 mortal wounds. And if you have 2 oath targets, you can do that to one thing and then also a second thing. And then that's only like 600 points plus a character, 700 points plus a Gilliman, I guess. So it's like half your army. You still have another half of your army to do other stuff. How about sustain 1, anti-monster, anti-vehicle 5? Is that what Deathwatch does? Oh, and Deathwatch get, I guess I should read what they do. I haven't opened up the index at all, chat. I have not had time. Let's look. Let's take a peek here. Dude, this sounds so fucking nuts, bro. Is it in... Where is it? Is it in indexes? No. Other rules? No. Oh, Grotsmas. There's a whole section for Grotsmas. So you can get sustained from Furors. And then you can use Hellfire rounds. You can't. There's no anti-vehicle though, right? Like Hellfire rounds does seem good, and anti-infantry. Oh no, excluding devastating wounds. No, you can't do that. Where does the anti-monster, anti-vehicle come from? They're kill team locked? Oh yeah, of course. So it doesn't do anything. All right. Well, I'm not gonna worry about it then. The new detachment. Oh, the Librarian detachment. That's what we're talking about. Okay. Librarius Conclave. That's this one. So yeah, I like this detachment, by the way. It gives you these like psychic disciplines and like combat doctrines, but you don't have to pick them, or you don't have to pick them once per game. You just pick whichever one you want. It's like Synaptic Nexus, but strictly better. It's fucking incredible. You compare this to Synaptic Nexus, and you just want to like actually kill yourself. It's crazy, but that's because it's a Tyranid detachment, and Tyranid detachments can't be good. Where does the anti stuff come from? Oh, from the enhancement. Oh, it's only one unit. I guess the downside is that you have to get these guys into range to shoot that many times. So theoretically, it's like difficult to trigger rapid fire.
Donated $5 through Super Chat. I find it funny how after 3 months of NP content, GW has basically drowned you in content to cover.
Yeah, I'm dying right now, chat. Don't worry about me. I'll be okay. I'll live somehow. Sustained 1, 5 up, anti AP +1. So yeah, it's Oop, that's Deathwatch. We don't want that. Get out of here, Deathwatch. We don't want you. Yeah, so it's AP1 from the Pyromancy discipline if you're within 12. I guess like you have to bring rhinos, maybe. It does feel like you could play like at a distance from that army, and it probably doesn't do the same like level of damage, but it does feel incredible for sure. Oh, you do Ventress? Yeah. But like that's only one unit, right? Yeah, Ventress, it's not a leadership ability for Ventress. You just get it. He just chooses somebody and you get it. Ventress certainly helps. That is fair. But I guess like maybe you just have one unit that just like goes fucking insane with this. Jesus Christ, dude, I can't. Oh God! Why play any other Space? Why play like literally at any time in 40k? Play anything other than Space Marines? It's insane. Oh my God, dude! Fucking nuts. So like, you have a librarian in your unit, and then that's like a 300 point unit. Librarian's like 70, right? 85 with the thing. And then you have like, I don't even know if you need G-Man in that case. And Ventress, so it's like maybe a 400 point combo. And then you have the rest of your army to play with, and it's just like auto deletes any one thing. I'll just oath that and then kill it automatically. Sick. Let's go. Yeah, the 4+ invulnerable save. Less useful, but much better now that Armor of Contempt has been nerfed. Previously, you would just like, you would Armor of Contempt and you would have better than a 4+ invuln essentially, but at least now the invuln is like, will affect you for a longer period of time. Yeah. Also, Tigurius is good with Sternguard. Is he? What does he do? Besides, he gives you like free Overwatch, right? Which is kind of whatever. And stealth? It's free Overwatch and stealth? Is that? Do I remember that? Am I remembering that correctly? I remember I wrote him off like at the beginning of the edition and have never looked back. 4+ feel no pain against psychic attacks and mortal wounds. You get -1 to be hit. Once per battle round, you can target them with Fire Overwatch, Go to Ground, or Heroic Intervention for free. Or Counteroffensive. Let's go. Oh, he also has kind of a sick gun, actually. He's a 2d6 shot, strength 6, AP2, 2 damage gun. Okay. Go to Ground is like kind of legit, though. Are we running that guy? Do we play that? Did we make Tigerius good? What? Excuse me? What is happening? Are Ultramarines and Necrons just the two SDR armies right now? Yeah, they might be, for sure. Overwatch fishing for more mortals. I mean, I guess, but like... You have to have hit rerolls. If it's your oath target, sure, but like... Theoretically, they're dead, so I don't know if it matters that much. But also, like... You're just firing 2d6... 2 damage attacks, probably with +1 to wound. Attach Tigerius to Blade Guard. I don't know. Did they buff Blade Guard? Is there a Blade Guard change here, chat? I don't know if I've ever been interested in Blade Guard. It doesn't seem like there is. Yeah, 2d6 blast for sure. Just like building out this whole ass enhancement here, this whole ass detachment here, champ. Oh, you also get you get a ignore cover. Oh, if divination discipline is active, but if you're blowing people out, you're pyromancying them. You don't have a fallback and shoot, though, which is a little sad. It's probably fine. Blade Guard will always be aggressively mediocre. Tell that to, like, 8th edition Blade Guard. They were so insane when they released. 2 damage melee attacks were, like, unheard of at that point. For a whole unit? A whole unit of guys? What the hell? Excuse me? What? That's crazy. Alright. I think that's enough malding about Sternguard Veterans. We can dive into some of the Codex compliant or non-compliant stuff. Looks like Space Wolves are unchanged. I think Dark Angels got the brunt of the changes. Grey Knights, we didn't see anything, right? Yeah. Dark Angels. Company of Hunters. Got mounted units from your army are eligible to shoot and to charge in a turn in which they fell back. Okay, that's a big buff. Master Maneuver, reroll advance and charge rolls. What was that previously? Oh, that was previously fallback, shoot, and charge, right? Not quite as exciting. They do have to, like, make up, like... I think they do have to make these a little bit better. Also, like, the Lion got, like, a huge points increase, too, which felt like kind of out of nowhere. I guess he got his good sweep, that good sweep back. Is that worth the big points increase? I don't know. I do like the Primarchs being super powerful, but being expensive. It feels much more reasonable. Company of Hunters. So previously... previously it let you come in out of reserve on turn 1. That's very different. Mounted Strategist is the stratagem where you used to be able to declare a charge in which you fell back. Oh, is that what you were talking about, where they changed the wrong enhancement, chat? So now they have a 30-point enhancement. Yeah, here's the old enhancement. Mounted Strategist. So they have a 30-point enhancement that doesn't do anything. The only models that can attach it are mounted. It's either the Bike Chaplain or the Company Command or the Ravenwood Command Squad, which already then, thanks to the detachment ability, have fallback and charge. So you don't need that. So this doesn't do anything. And then they lost their turn 1 reserve. Yeah, they fucked it. Bungled. They bungled it. Oh, jeez. That's incredible. That's like confusing Ogren and Bulgren. Like classic. That's classic GW. You could get it though. All right. So here's why they made this error, right? It's because they named the detachment ability Masters of Maneuver, and they named the enhancement Master of Maneuver. So the person doing the update said, of course, the enhancement that enhances your detachment ability, allowing you to both shoot and charge in a turn in which you fell back, is the one that sounds most close to the name of the detachment ability. But wrong! You're wrong! GW, you're bad at naming stuff. Those two rules, despite being literally a single letter difference, have nothing to do with each other. That's why they fucked that up. That's incredible. That's very funny. That's very, very funny, and it makes me laugh. Oh my god. Didn't they note the error in the article? I have not read the article, chat. I don't know how to read. I don't know if anybody has figured this out yet, but I'm actually illiterate. Lionel Johnson, 2 damage on his sweep again. Yeah, let's go! It always felt a little bit weird that he was like kind of aggressively mediocre at killing 2 wound models specifically. He was like, 3 wound Terminators, I will strike you and destroy you. Infantry squads, I will sweep and sustain hits. If you're a Space Marine, though, I can kill exactly 8 of you. I can never kill a full unit of 10. Oh, okay, cool. Thanks, Lion. Here's a huge change though. Ravenwing Black Knights got devastating wounds in melee. They have monster anti-vehicle 4 when they charge. So these guys are gonna go fucking nuts. They're gonna go insane when they charge. I think that you play like a million Ravenwing Black Knights now. Making up for not getting +1 to wounds, chant. Yeah, anti-monster, anti-vehicle 4, so they're doing devastating on 4-ups when they charge. Oh, yikes. Yikes. Samael now can advance, shoot, and charge. If you can already shoot and declare a charge, you get +1 to advance and charge rolls instead, so he's still playable in the Company of Hunters. That's a big deal to you. Feels good. These Ravenwing Black Knights seem so crazy. I mean, I guess like it's a limited number of attacks, but they're probably hitting you for like, if it's a full unit. Does the command squad have any of the same weapons? Wait. They have the same weapon. Black Knight combat weapon, but they don't get devastating wounds because only the one on the Ravenwing Black Knight data sheet changed. That's so stupid. I mean, probably for the best, right? Let's not give like 24 devastating attacks or whatever to this unit. But that's for sure gonna get fucked up a million times. Who has the weapon? Does this tell us? Oh yeah, here we go. Every other weapon model is equipped with black. Yeah, so there's 2 guys with the close combat weapons who will get not devastating attacks. They have to roll separately. Oh my god. That's so fucking funny. So you're like, alright, here's my good devastating attacks. Here's my shitty Black Knight combat weapons. Alright, well. We could have had 24 devastating attacks, but instead we're just going to do the normal number. Which is probably, I think they'll still probably kill whatever they charge, but it is what it is. You're still like wounding with your like 6 2 damage attacks from the champion. R.I.P. Belial. Yeah. I mean, that guy, he's real bad. I don't know how they constantly make him bad too. It's funny because he's been really bad for like the entirety of his life. There was a point at which I think he made like Deathwing Terminator's troops back in the day. I think he was playable, but like at every edition he's been bad since then. Death Guard, we did miss this little change here. Mortarion has Deep Strike now, so he can like do funny rapid ingress stuff. It's actually kind of huge. I hope he didn't get a points increase for that. I doubt he did. But who knows with this update, dude? Everything's going crazy. No, he's the same. I think much more playable with that in mind, to be fair. He gives you a little bit of sort of offensive push into your opponent's side. So you can play him more offensively, where he just sinks into their screens. Forces your opponent to screen into Death Guard, which is huge. Does this mean that everything Dark Angel specific from their codexes have been eroded? No, not everything. Like all the aircraft and stuff are the same. All right, I think we've hit all the rules updates. Let's see if we've missed anything here. Are there any no, literally no Tau changes. Space Wolves somehow only got +1 AP on Wolf Scouts. Kind of wild. Yeah, I think that's it. All right, let's talk about some points. We've already covered them a little bit because we've been talking about them as we've been running through the factions. Morty just got to work on that sweep, yo. His attack profile kind of sucks. Oh, and honestly, he did get kind of a debuff because Armor of Contempt is less good now, so the necessity to ignore it is not quite as big. And that was a huge part of his usefulness, is that he could ignore Armor of Contempt. Forgot World Eaters. World Eaters didn't really change. I think it was just a wording cleanup, right? Where they're I think that this that was previously if you already had an invulnerable save, it improved the invulnerable save on the Demon Prince. Oh, I'm kind of not looking forward to playing this against all these Space Marines, chat. Previously, it was if you already had an invulnerable save, you got a 4+. Now it says if you already had a 5+ invulnerable save, you get a 4+. Okay. Was there anything in the faction that had a 6+? Because 8-bound all have 5s, right? Yeah. Did this actually do anything? Maybe it's for the future. Maybe it's a future thing. Chaos Spawn didn't, right? They were just a 4+ armor, yeah. Dude, the Master of Executions? He's a no invuln save guy. Yeah, I don't think that actually did anything. The combo was with Jackals. Oh. Having played against Jackal spam, Demon Prince Jackal spam, I've literally never seen that done. But, I mean, it makes sense. You get to save your CP, I guess, now. You'll have to stick with a 5+ invulnerable save. Factions ruined. Sell your World Eaters. It's time to throw in the towel. They're unplayably trash now that you can't go to ground for a 4+ invuln save. Wait, how many people posted that? 1, 2, 3, 4, 6 people? All right, well. Chad, how could you get a 6+ invulnerable save in World Eaters? There's no way to do it. How could you do that? Somebody should tell me in the comment section. Somebody post in the chat how it's possible to get a 6+ invulnerable save in World Eaters. Could it be some sort of stratagem? No, there's no way. Dude, no, World Eaters, no, there's no way to get a 6+ invulnerable save in World Eaters. It's impossible. I am like unironically surprised how many people just like rip that off the top. Because like, how often does the 6+ invuln from go to ground matter? And how often does it matter on like a really niche combo? Like, it's pretty wild. Y'all play World Eater's Demon Princes that often? We'll have to consult the secret texts. Yeah. All right. Adepta Sororitas got hit even harder. 20 points for an exorcist. Jesus fucking Christ. Holy shit. Castigator went up 10. Sorry, Adepta Sororitas. Gotta go play Army of Faith now, I guess. But even like the Army of Faith stuff got nerfed. You have less miracle dice? I don't know. Feels like we could have cut some stuff. Maybe we drop like trash ass Repentia squads at some point. I don't know. Adeptus Custodes, we saw up. We talked about these already. Virtus Praetors all went up because they got like their data sheets entirely reworked, so they're actually good now. Adeptus Mechanicus, Castle and Robots to down 5 points a model. We got to play them in that new detachment. Let's go. Adeptus Titanicus. No justice for the Warlord Titan, chat. 3,500 points is far too expensive for this thing. And I think it's a travesty that the design team has not yet addressed this glaring balance issue that's plaguing the game. The Warlord Titan is too expensive and should be 3,350 instead of 3,500. It makes me sad. Make it 2,000. Just fucking ruin 40k. I'll play this Warlord Titan. I'll kill your whole army in like one turn. But only if I can see you. If you just hide, it'll be fine. Also, I actually don't think it actually deploys in most deployment, actually, so it might be fine. I actually think it might literally not be playable in Strike Force games. On GW layouts. I think in many deployment zones you cannot place it. Which is funny. I can see it going down 10 points, maybe. Could you imagine if they were like, Warlord Titan changed 34.95? Warhound should go down 1,000, so you're going to bring 2. I was saying that they should do a Titanicus detachment, and the only detachment ability is that you get an extra Warhound Titan for like 900 points, so you can bring 2. I think they don't want you to be able to do that, but I think it would be really bad. Warhound Titans are already like only like super fringe playable, and they're not very good. And bringing 2 of them, I think you would just lose every game. But it would be cool. Let people do it. Fuck it. Who cares? Literally no changes to Eldar. Although they're getting a codex in like 2 days, so who cares? Astra Militarum, we talked about all the changes there. Warhound Titan should be 1,001. Yeah. Just to fuck with people. You imagine like going to the game store, you're like, hey man, can I do you mind I'm just like a couple points over. Do you mind if I'm like 2 points over? Just like I don't know what to drop, so like whatever. And your opponent's like, yeah, dude, it's fine. Did you bring 2 Warhound Titans? That would be the only unit in the game with a non-multiple of 5 as their points value, right? If it was 1,001. That'd be wild. Imagine killing the Warlord Titan with all the Sternguard. How would you? The Warlord Titan can make them take a battle shock check after it attacks them. So, although it actually has like a fucking insane indirect weapon that I think kills an entire Sternguard squad every time it shoots. I don't know. I have a whole video on the Warlord Titan. It kills like 8 Land Raiders in one shooting phase. What is it? The Apocalypse Launcher? The Apocalypse Launcher. It's 20 shots. It has Blast, but it doesn't do anything. It just doesn't let it shoot into melee, which is very funny. If you engage this thing, it's just like fucked. If you get one dude to touch it in melee and it doesn't kill you with its like 4 damage melee attacks, then it just can't do anything ever. It's so bad. But it's like strength 8, AP 2, 2 damage, 20 attack. So like basically, it's a pretty reasonable chance to kill all of, if not most of, if not all of a Sternguard Veteran squad when it shoots. Battle shock test. Oh no. No, battle shock test. Ah. I do think that there are probably some 2,000 point armies that could fight this thing, I bet. If you were like playing on reasonable terrain and it couldn't really see very well. If it's just sitting there like killing utility units every turn and getting movement blocked, I think it actually sucks. Tank shock with 16 dice. Yeah, let's go. We'll do 4 mortal wounds. Woo! One Gretchen engages it. He's like, it's over, man. I'll make my melee attacks back. And he's like, it's a WA turn. I made my invuln save. No. Back to points, chats. Black Templars, Repulsors, and Executioners went down. Did regular Repulsors and Executioners go down? They were sort of seeing Fringe play. I think it feels like it would have been okay. This is something that I didn't notice, actually. Maybe I hadn't internalized it. Range Field Warrior was 10 points. That's like the once per game sustain 3 on a character. That's fucking nuts from Liberator Assault Group. That little guy killed the world. The rest of the detachment was doing okay, but they were killing fucking everything. Mephiston went up 10, not too surprising. Sanguinary Guard went down like 2 points a model. 5 for 3 and 10 for 6. It's okay. Chaos Demons, big change. Bloodletters down 10. Cool. Screamers went up 10. But we talked about that already. Chaos Knights. So this I don't understand. We are buffing the trash war dogs that don't get played, but I don't like why. Like why are we allowed to take so many executioners? I don't get it. I don't know if I get it. I think Chaos Knights were okay, and just like giving them a strict upgrade on their army rule and their enhancements was really good. I don't know if we necessarily needed to give them points cuts too, but because they already got points cuts in the last update and they were still doing fine. I don't understand it, chat. ETA on Tyranids getting grenades. Maybe 11th edition. Maybe they'll squat the army and we won't have to worry about it anymore. I'd like that. Chaos Space Marines got a points cut on 6 model biker squads. Cool. Dark Angels got Lionel Johnson up 30 because of his 2 damage sweep, but that feels kind of bad, honestly. I think he was like only fringe at 285. You probably could have put him to 290 and like call it a day. 300 points for just like a dedicated melee goober is like kind of whatever. Not even pretending to care about the big knights yet. I think they're just like, hey man, these are just unsalvageable. Big Chaos Knights? We can't do it. We don't know how. How do you make them good? I have no fucking idea, bro. Did you all see that data sheet or the like perspective leaked data sheet for the new knight kits? They're like T11 now, but have like 28 wounds or something. Pretty wild. Got points values for Deathwatch Index. I haven't gone through all these, so I don't know. We might talk about them in the future. Watch Captain Artemis is 65. Wait, is his data sheet the same as the... Do I have the Deathwatch Index open? I don't. Where are you at, Deathwatch? Is he the same as the Imperial agents, Watch Captain Artemis? Or does he have like the trash, like you can use a stratagem on this unit again? No, he's the same. Wait, 65 for this guy? That's incredible. Is that the same cost as he is in Imperial agents? Man, maybe Deathwatch are good. Fuck, holy shit. Yeah. Just a regenerating, like, utility character? Sick. Good to me. Damn, dude. Drukhari. Fucking nerfed again. I don't understand it. It felt too hard the last time, and now they just got another set of nerfs. I don't get it. Scourge is up fucking 10 points. Jesus. Void Raven Bomber up 20. Rax went down. Cool. Grotesques went up. Like, guys, you don't want us to play transports because they're broken. So at least let us play our big monster guys. No. We make them more expensive. Oh, okay. I guess I'll just quit. I don't know. We like it hard. It's Skari's work. Yeah. When people were surprised about the first round of Drukhari nerfs, I thought they were stupid. I didn't really understand why they nerfed like the transports and the characters and the units that the characters attached to that went into the transports. I was like, you can nerf like maybe 2 of those. I don't know if you need to nerf all 3. But then like, we also need to nerf like Void Raven Bombers. GW has a problem every time aircraft are good though. They hate them because they're like, they made a unit archetype that is like uninteractable and they don't like it when it's really good. But maybe don't make that unit archetype like that. Maybe we design them in a different way. Can't do. Genestealer cults we already talked about. They just got minor adjustments to go with their new cool cult ambush stuff. Grey Knight's Nemesis Dread Knight went up by 5, which is funny because literally like 9 hours ago I released a video with 3 Nemesis Dread Knights in it, which is now irrelevant, but I'm not going to remake it for a 3rd time because it's now 15 points over. And there's like no way to cut. There's like no cuts to make it fit. It's like at perfectly 2000 with no enhancements. So I'll go fuck myself, I guess. But I think that's fair. I think Nemesis Dread Knights are probably broken in the new detachment. It turns out full hit rerolls on those guys is really good, so I don't know. Yeah. Void Raven Bomber recipient was the only flyer to get nerfed. Not in the history of the game, but in this update, I think that's true. But like if you just go down the line, literally every time an aircraft has been playable in a faction, it gets nerfed. Like every single time. Games Workshop cannot stand for an aircraft to be a part of a faction's normal like playstyle. Because the aircraft mechanics are broken and they don't know how to fix them without just they won't rewrite them. They won't redesign aircraft. So they're just like, fuck it. You could make them a normal vehicle that other people can interact with, but nah. We have to give them a bunch of like unique and arcane mechanics that like make them in specific situations super busted. Which then makes them like a very toxic playstyle, which then causes us to nerf them every time. Oh, what if we made them a regular vehicle? No, you can't do that. Conceptually, it doesn't work. It doesn't fit with the narrative. Okay. Well, then just like have fun having an entire range of models that no one will ever buy. I don't get it. I don't understand it. Yeah. It's flyer spam PTSD? Maybe. I lost to flyer spam my first ever tournament game in 8th edition, and then I beat it every time I played against it after that. Once I saw it, I knew it was up. And then I just knew I had to kill all the Farseers every time. Yeah. Like, the flyer lists were insane. I mean, the Orc flyers weren't even the worst ones. The Orc flyers were really good. It was the Admech flyers that, like, people forget about. The Adeptus Mechanicus flyer spam list was so fucking insane. And people kept telling me in 8th edition, like, late 8th edition, they were like, Adeptus Mechanicus aren't good. It's weird that they keep getting nerfs. And I'm like, they're the best faction in the game, it's not even close. And then, like, I remember very distinctly, somebody in my comment section was like, that's stupid. Like, that's stupid, you're stupid. Adeptus Mechanicus are trash. And I was like, hey, here's a playlist of videos where Adeptus Mechanicus players literally prevent their opponent from moving out of their deployment zone and then table them on turn 2. So, like, I don't know, your argument's invalid. And it was all off the back of 6 flyers. But, like, that's because the flyer mechanics are always really broken. Like, they can move infinitely and can't be attacked by half the game. Why we do? Why do that? Because it's, like, thematic, sure, but that's stupid. Like, make a different rule. Yeah, we shouldn't be sacrificing the entire every instance of this type of unit for the theme. But anyway, that's my soapbox about flyers. They just need to do something different. I wonder if that's like some sort of like mandate. Imperial agents. Oh. Vindicare Assassin, minus 25 in other armies. Fuck yeah. But not in Imperial Agents. He's still... Watch Captain Artemis also 65 here. That's cool. He's still 110. But he's like 150 in the Assassin Detachment, right? Because he has like a big he's an anti-material rifle. Shoots through vehicles good. Imperial Knights, armigers went down. Man, there's like that 2 knight... 5 armature list is going to be even better now. Damn. Ooh. Or even like Canis Rex a bunch of armatures. It's also going to be good. That feels really good for Imperial Knights. I guess it's a little bit of a compensation for their detachment being super trash, right? Hoping for a points reduction on the new enhancements. I don't think they would change Grasmus detachments. What we might see is that we get an update in January. I don't think that they'll change any Grasmus stuff, but once it becomes like officially legal and it gets added to the MFM, we could see updates to that. Pure like Grasmus detachment's so sad. Yeah, it's super bad. Guys, how would you like to be much easier to kill, but you can heal? You're like, oh, great. So we're just an assimilation swarm. Cool. And that detachment does so well. Oh, my God. Leagues of Votann broke here. Thunderkin went down a little bit. That's kind of fun. Good stuff. I appreciate that these points changes, aside from a couple factions, are not like wild. Which is good. Necrons, we're seeing some increases in Catan shards. Nightbringer, Void Dragon, Transcendent Catan up. Is the Deceiver up? No, he's the same, looks like. Nope, he's the same. Alright, well that's good, because his output sucks. Still probably going to be insane in Star Shatter, because you can double reanimate them. Canoptek Wraith's down, which is wild. If you'd told me 6 months ago that Canoptek Wraiths would be getting buffed, I would have told you to like walk off a bridge or something. Ophidian Destroyer's down. 3 Ophidian Destroyers for 80 actually seems amazing. Plasmancer down. That's also really good. Plasmancers are good. Royal Warden up. Weird. Okay. Hexmark Destroyer up. That makes sense. Ghostmark down. Immortals down. Necron Warriors down. I wonder, like, what is the impetus for this? Like, Necrons aren't exactly bad. And they just got an incredible detachment. I don't really understand why we're side grading them. Like, other factions just have gotten, like, either nerfs or no changes, and Necrons are doing incredibly, and they're like, you'll get some buffs and some stuff. Okay. Sure, I guess. That's nice. Can I pause the stream? That's what the scroll back is for. There's a 1,000 Sun and Chaos Knights player. This Grasmus has been so mid. Yeah, that's very fair. Man, weird. I don't know. Like, these changes feel fine, right? Like, nobody's that excited, I think, about cheaper Necron Warriors and Ghost Arcs. But like Canoptek Wraiths getting a points decrease is like kind of wild. Immortals getting a points decrease is kind of wild. But like the Royal Warden got nerfed. Like, what? And maybe I'm not like keyed into the Necron zeitgeist. But like, I don't understand. I don't get it, man. I don't get it. Especially in context of other factions getting no changes or nerfs. Orks got a change to war bosses and more bosses and mega armor. I didn't really understand this. I thought this had something to do with their detachment ability changing. But maybe they just feel that the detachment ability is so good. Like the new, or not the detachment ability, excuse me, the army ability changing. Maybe they think that the army ability being buffed into command phase is so good that orcs will overperform. Being more consistent will certainly do it for them. I think that like orcs definitely had this like almost automatic 50% win rate because they were so advantaged going first and they were so shit going second. That maybe being more consistent is going to help them quite a bit, and like nerfing them 30 points or so is necessary, but it doesn't feel that way to me. Because I do think that they're going to be equally as good going first. Although they're going to get to see their secondaries before they declare WoW, which is actually kind of a big deal. Especially for like Zodgrod lists, because you can choose when you get your speed buff. But I don't know. I think going second is still going to be really bad for them. It's basically going to be 9th edition all over again. Because you get movement blocked and then exactly the same series of things happen. You just have slightly more control. So like, we could have maybe held a nerf for a little bit. I don't know. It's so nice to have the points changes in the doc. Yeah. Proves that GW has a 1.5 year buffer. I don't know about that. I think it proves that their team is dedicated to improving their communication. Right, because like, you know, we're getting updates every 6 months or something, and like they have a document and probably an SOP for changes or whatever, for like, you know, to add changes in, and just every once in a while somebody's like, hey, can we add this thing in, and then it goes through a cycle. Like, I don't know if it's a year and a half. I think that they're pretty agile in their changes these days. I mean, this changes, like, this update's only like 2 months after the previous one, right? Like, we're seeing basically nerfs in real time, like buffs and nerfs in real time almost. Maybe orcs will get a DACA detachment. Yeah, you'd think that would have been Dread Mob, but they used to have that when they had their old like speed boss mechanic. Heavy intercessor squads got a points increase, which makes sense because they literally doubled their damage output, right? So seems good. Inceptor squads got a points cut because they're not as good anymore. Money's Calgar went up because he's fucking insane. Infernus squads went up for no discernible reason. It went up like a lot too. 2 points a model. Okay. That one's funny. That makes me laugh. Uriel Ventress went up 20. Thank God. He's super broken, so that's fine. Scout squads went up 5. Sternguard Veterans. I guess that's also another interesting thing because like they buffed all the knives to. It's another example of them buffing a unit to then justify points increases, which I think is kind of cool, right? Because they then side grade. So like Reavers are now 80 points instead of 75. They're the same points as cost as Intercessors. But at least all of their melee attacks are AP1. You know, plus they have their their OC reduction ability too, which is like really good. And the same with Scouts. Scouts are you're still going to take Scouts, but now they're slightly better in melee, which probably won't matter, but it might. But it justifies an extra 5 points for them. And then Sternguard Veterans are super busted now, so I don't know. Time for the age of Necron vehicles and Space Marine infantry, yeah. Listen, that Sternguard Veteran squad will fucking trash Doomsday Arc. If you have the 5+ anti-vehicle thing, like, there's no way that Doomsday Arc survives, right? He's just fucking dead. Plus Scout and Deep Strike and ignore vertical distances. Does the grapple... Real talk. Did grapple launchers ever matter? Has there ever been a game where a grapple launcher has just distinctly changed how that game has progressed? I don't think that there has been. I don't think that ability has literally ever made a difference in a game of 40k. It's like... Yeah, because it's infantry. They walk through walls. Who cares? I appreciate that it's represented mechanically that they have grappling hooks, but it's like so funny. It should be a charge bonus. Based on Space Marine 2, that's literally what they do, is they grapple you and then they pull themselves to you. It should be a charge bonus, but it's not. That would actually be sick. Wolf Scouts went up 5, sort of consistent with the Scout things. Wolfen went up 5. Okay. Were people taking Wolfen? I feel like they fell off. I don't know. Tau Empire. Tigershark went up 50. Okay. Good fuck Tigershark. Because some people were still playing the Singleton. But again, can't have aircraft be good. No way. Although the Tigershark, I think, is like probably an egregious example. It's not good because it's aircraft. It's good because it has too many guns on its profile. They accidentally printed a model that shoots like 45 damage worth of Seeker missiles. Guys, you think we give it 6 Seeker missiles? Is that fine? And let it shoot all of them at once? Probably. What's the worst that could happen? Somebody shoots them all at once and gives them sustained hits too. No way. There's no way that would be good. They saw WCW list having one Tigershark in almost every top list. Was that true? What? BCB, stop signing me out. What the fuck? Where did Tigershark, chat? Where Tigershark? Where Tigershark? Where'd they go? These look like regular TAL lists. No Tigershark. I don't know if that's true, chat. Maybe the ones who didn't do well took Tigersharks. These are all retaliation cadres with 1 million crisis battle suits. A lot of WCW lists had them. Well, they didn't perform particularly well, apparently. We're down to 84th place. Can we find a Tigershark? It's a carry on. Nope. Well, I think the people taking Tigersharks probably lost a lot. 1,000 Suns! Big changes here. Let's go. Bring back multi-level terrain and plunging fire. I think, like, real talk, I might be okay with plunging fire. I just want +1 AP, man. I don't like multi-level terrain. I think it's, like, annoying and fiddly and stupid. But, like, it's so hard to fucking kill anything in this dumb game. We should have easy access to +1 AP. I think 40k would be meaningfully improved if you just literally improve the AP value of every weapon in the game. I don't even know if that's particularly controversial. I don't even think that Games Workshop disagrees with me. They just nerfed Armor of Contempt. Like, you can't kill anything in 10th edition. It sucks. You just attack people for like 10 minutes and then they don't die. And you're like, okay, I lose, I guess. Hey! Tyranids! Looking good, dude. Norn Assimilator down 15. Norn Emissary down 15. Sam Pope was like campaigning for this super hard, by the way. He was playing. I streamed some of his games over on the NEO Invitational, and he was saying he was literally playing Norns to try to get people to like see how overcosted they were. And when you watch it, when you watch them like this big, huge, fucking 300-point idiot monster like wander onto an objective, like take 1 trillion damage and then do nothing and then die, and you're like, oh, Yeah. Why is that 275 points? It doesn't make sense. Trigon went down 20 because it is bad now, I think. It has like no internal delivery system, so that's sad. Poor Trigon. I love the Trigon. I have a gorgeous Trigon that I painted when I was a kid that I fucking love. It's like all beat up and broken because it's ancient, but I like cut up a little Space Marine, put it on his base. Did a little diorama kind of thing. I loved it. But yeah, no ability to rapid ingress off of the close deep strike. It means I think the Trigon's like kind of really super bad. At least make a charge out of its 6-inch thing, but that would probably be broken. Yeah, I don't know. Still don't know why the assimilator costs more. Yeah, me neither. Because it's Tyranids, and Tyranids aren't allowed to have good offensive profiles. They're like, wait, what? That thing does. It's AP3? Nerf it. Nerf into the fucking ground. Tyrant Guard getting a points cut's nice too. It looks like they're trying to push the Assimilation Swarm, like tank build, quite a bit. That might actually be meaningful for Assimilation Swarm, to be fair. Because it's 20 points off the normal Assimilation Swarm list, and you get the like Psychophage thing, like interaction. It's kind of cool. World Leaders, no changes. All right, well. Points were not huge, except for like Sisters and Militarum. And then obviously the Space Marine stuff. But Space Marines are basically a new faction. Same with Genestealer cults. Necrons I don't really understand. But who am I to judge, Chant? Oh, man. How are we feeling about these changes, everybody? What's even the point of rule? Of the Trigon rule? Like I don't know. Great for a Space Marine player, yeah. Yeah, I wish it feels like I don't know. It feels to me like the Space Marine changes were maybe too far in the opposite direction. They tried their best to nerf Ultramarines, but I don't think like plus 30 points is enough, right? Or whatever, 35. What did they do to Marneus Calgar? He went up 20. He was 180, right? Now he's 200. Where'd Space Marines end up? Space Marine. So like he went up 15, yeah, 35 points for Ultramarine stuff. And then like you might lose a couple points from Scouts. So you went up like 40, but you got +1 to wound in your whole army. Like worst case scenario, that's like a side grade. But realistically it's probably a dramatic buff. So like I don't know. It feels like Space Marines just with +1 wound everywhere sounds like such a fucking nightmare. I don't know. It feels like I've always been a Space Marine player, you know? I've always loved Space Marines and Space Marine accessories. And I have one. I've had a Space Marine army for so long, and don't mind the fact that they still smell of primer and have never been painted. They're my favorite faction. Bring back the Trigon Prime, worst Tyranid HQ of 9th. Maybe the worst HQ of 9th. Trigon Prime was horrible. That little fucker was so bad, dude. It was like just a Trigon with a better gun that gave up Assassinate. Like, okay. You could be playing a Hive Tyrant, but instead you're playing this piece of shit. Look at this fucker. He had 2 damage. He had 2 damage melee attack. No rerolls. Weapon skill 3. Well, and bracketed. Sure. -1 to hit in melee. Let's go. Wild. +1 to advance and charge as a Synaptic Link was really cool. Who remembers Synaptic Links? What a cool ability that was. Couldn't bring that back, though. Nope. Too good. Ugh. Let's not look at 9th edition datasheets, chat. I'll get nostalgic for the good old days when you could attack people and they were removed from the battlefield. The good old days. Yeah. Who knew when I would be nostalgic for a fucking Trigon Prime, though? That comes out of nowhere. Synaptic Link was so cool. Yeah, I agree. Synaptic Link was maybe sweet. Can we do a 9th ed tournament? There was some conversation on the Discord about playing 9th edition. Somebody was trying to get TTS to work with it. The problem is now, I think, unless you have like the 9th edition mods archived, I don't think anything's updated for 9th, so I think like all the tools wouldn't work. I don't know how many people would be like into that, right? Because you're just playing like sort of out of date rules. It don't really matter. But also it would be much like difficult to use the old tools. Like you wouldn't have any of the maps built in. The scoring's not correct. I don't believe that Yellow Scribe is like backwards compatible. So it would be tough. The map no longer exists? Yeah. I mean, you could like keep track manually. I guess. It would be like a little bit tougher, but also 9th edition scoring was much simpler, so it probably would be doable. It would just be kind of annoying. 2 or 3 bad ones might spoil the bunch. Yeah. Yeah, I'm curious. I'm made curious by and worried about like Necrons getting buffed and then also getting Star Shatter. But we'll have to see when that gets officially added to the Metatorum, how it ends up looking. Because like we can hold out hope that there are changes inbound for the stuff that they messed up. I think the Space Marine stuff is like probably too strong. I do appreciate the Armor of Contempt nerf though. I don't want to gloss over that because like I do think that is this is like literally a response to like the problem that I've had with the edition, right? From the beginning, I felt that the edition, and I've been complaining about it incessantly, is like way too defensive, and effects like this are symptomatic of that. And nerfing them, I think, goes a huge way. So yeah, I don't know. I think this is good, and I think this has good implications for the rest of the edition. If we can keep like slowly chipping away at like dumb stacking defensive mechanics, I think the game's going to be more fun. Like if we can stop cover from being like permanently applicable. And
Ryan G donated $5 through Super Chat. Real talk. Let's rant about NIDs. Their army rule should have just been sign-ups with more buffs. Shadow in the Warp was a band-aid for Psychic.
Army roll should have been synapse with more buffs. Like a 6-inch aura from your synapse creatures that also did a thing. Yeah, I think so. I agree. I agree for sure. I think the cool thing about Tyranids, like in past editions, at least through the Leviathan supplement in late 8th, was that they had this whole like theme of the synapse creatures all bringing army buffs to the table that you could then distribute amongst your army, and I think that was cool. And that's been a mechanical something of Tyranids in other media too. That's how they work in Gladius, for example. That's Gladius Relics of War, by the way, not Gladius Task Force, the detachment in 40k. And like that's how they work in a lot of other like video games, and that's like theoretically how they work, like conceptually. And I think that was like really cool and interesting, and you could like build in different synergies into your army. But the problem is that when you take their baseline profiles and remove that, and also remove the psychic phase, like it turns out their baseline profiles are really super bad. But like the whole idea was that you would buff them with all of these like stacking abilities. I think that the Tyranid Codex was just like a fundamental misunderstanding of how the Tyranid faction worked in previous editions. I think that's part of the issue of being like a first Codex release, right? Which is why they have to constantly be updating them, because they're just like so outdated. It gives +1 strength in melee. Oh, of course. Of course, chat. How could I have forgotten? +1 strength in melee. Let's go. The greatest band-aid of all time. Like, guys, would you like to ever break strength 10? Here you go. You can finally be strength 10. Oh, thanks. In the edition where like the median strength is 11, or the medium toughness is 11, thank you. Great. I love this for me. I'll go from winning on 5s to winning on 5s, but sometimes I would infantry on 2s instead of 3s with my like 200-point monster. So sweet. I love that. That has 4 attacks. Cool. Fuck me. With a large enough sample size now, you can say in confidence the rule of Psychic Phase is real to you playing significantly less, significantly fewer games. Yeah, that's it. See, they removed the Psychic Phase to make the game faster. It's faster to play less games at 40k. So, yeah, I think that was. I don't want to say that was the worst update the 10th edition did. It might have been. But I think it. Oh, maybe it was. It's either that or charge rules. The charge rules are really bad in 10th. Being able to fuck yourself by rolling too high on a charge roll is insane. That's like so pants on head. One of those two things, or cover. Those 3 things. Cover is really bad. Charging is really bad. No Psychic Phase. You can pick one of those, and it's the worst change. But that's the top 3 for sure. Yeah, give space for the Psychic attachment. Yeah, like. I don't want to turn this into the Tyranid like Mauled Fest because I feel like I don't know, that's what this all turns into. But like let's for a moment compare Synaptic Nexus with the new Space Marine detachment. You're like, one of these things is not like the others. One of these things just doesn't belong. This, to be fair, only affects Psyker units, so it is much more limited in its effect. Instead of just being a like Synapse Pulse. But like you get more opportunities to use the effects. They aren't once per game selections. And there's almost all of them I think are strictly better. Instead of +1 to hit, you get reroll once to hit. Instead of +1 to hit in melee, you get +1 to hit. You get reroll once to hit and wound, or +1 AP. Instead of a 5+ invulnerable save, you get -1 strength. I guess that one's not as good. And instead of +1 advance and charge, you get +2 movement, which is at baseline better because you don't have to declare any advances or charges to get the benefit of it. And then these are repeatable. It's like, I don't know. These are like much more useful. They are more limited though, I guess, because it is only the Psykers. But it's kind of wild that like, I don't know. It's wild that that's a Space Marine thing, I guess. Yeah, and you have better data sheets. Remember when only a few things had an invulnerable save? Not really. I think invulnerable saves have always been important because 40k in the past has been hyper lethal. Now things have invulnerable saves, but it feels superfluous, right? Like we were just talking about that the librarian data sheet. And like I mentioned that if you have Armor of Contempt, it's basically just a 4+ invuln save because you're almost permanently +2 save. So a 3+ armor save and a 4+ invulnerable save is actually not that different in 10th edition. So like I think there might be more invulnerable saves, but it never feels like it matters. I don't even know if that's true though, to be fair, because like you used to be able to give things invulnerable saves a lot in 9th edition, which you can't anymore. I think there might have been more invulnerable saves in 9th than there are in 10th. But also 10th, like 9th edition had 1,000,000 mortal wounds and you could bypass saves and stuff. So you could actually like ensure that you killed things. If you dedicated all your resources to it. It was like a resource management game. You would like if you could overcommit and kill something. You could kill 2 things if you took some risk, but if you really needed to kill one thing, you could commit all your buffs to it and you could do it. But in 10th edition you can't do that, and so the game's just like a random crapshoot. Remember when he had invulnerable saving ignoring guns? Yeah, I did. One thing I didn't like was like the ever scaling arms race between invulns and invuln ignoring, because they were like, hey, 8th edition was too lethal. We're gonna add a bunch of invulnerable saves. The invulnerable saves are like too swingy, so we're gonna add invulnerable saving ignoring weapons. Invulnerable saving ignoring weapons are too strong, so we're gonna add demonic invulnerability, which is unignorable. Which was it was stupid. That was dumb. Like, I didn't like that part. If you're gonna have something that is either invulnerable or ignores invulnerable, have that be the case. Stop scaling the effect. That was like a very, I don't know. That was very like clear power creep, which was very annoying. I didn't like that part. That was dumb. Oh yeah, weapons that couldn't have their unignorable weapons. They're like, feel no pain's too strong. We're gonna do no. You can't ignore it. Yeah, I thought that stuff was very silly. Like, if you're gonna have a defensive mechanic, have the defensive mechanic work. I'm okay with that, right? If I want to dump all my buffs on this unit and make it hard to kill, I think that's fine. I do think that my opponent should have the capacity to kill it. I don't think it's okay for, like, in 10th edition where you stack 2 or 3 stratagems onto like a land raider and your opponent in many matches like simply cannot kill it. I think that's too good. Or like even Ed, right, in Chaos Demons. I don't think Ed's okay. I'll play him because he's really broken, but I don't agree with the design ethos where you have a unit that your opponent literally in a single battle round of 40k and maybe in 2 literally cannot remove it from the table. Like, mathematically, it's not going to happen. I think that's stupid. That's super dumb. But I also don't like the idea that, like, in order to combat that, we'll just make a literal silver bullet. That, like, a weapon that says, this weapon kills Ed. Don't do that. Just make Ed worse. Like, what are we doing? But again, it's like, It feels like we're talking about politics, like everything comes back to capitalism at some point, right? Like, everything comes back to the Codex release cycle, which is driven by capitalism. It's been capitalism this whole time, chat. Everything comes back to the Codex release cycle because it always has to be like a constant push. And the way to push the constant push is to make things that beat other things, and 9th edition did that like way more egregiously than anything else. Which I appreciate. 10th edition has not done quite as much, right? 10th edition, at least the ecosystem has been largely the same since the beginning. And when they're making changes because of the updates, they're changing things holistically rather than for individual factions. So I do think that that's good. That's been good for the game. It may be just be an ecosystem that I'm not super happy with, but it is what it is. Glad wound caps are gone. Oh yeah, wound caps were another one. Wound caps were also so. Yeah, phase cap damage. Oh man, what a time to be alive. I think those ones were, I don't know. I didn't dislike phase caps as much, I feel like. Because there were ways to get around it, right? Like if you could do like mortal wounds on the charge or something, you could do like charge and then fight phase damage. There was like so much random damage spilling around that a lot of factions could figure out ways to kill the character. Yeah. Fucking wound caps. Are we talking about dumb things EW's made? Yeah, basically. Yeah, we're kind of wrapping up here, so we're gonna hop off in a little bit here, champ. Oh man, 9th had narrow throw up charging into melee and tying a knight up for 3 turns with a 3+ invuln Slayers. Yeah, if you got lucky with it, you would almost always have to dedicate your like battle round CP to keeping that guy alive, though. And sometimes you just like flubbed two saving throws. Your opponent was like, "Whoa, got him!" and just like one shots him. This little 5 wound idiot. It was funny when it worked. One phase army versus wound caps. Yeah, that was the problem with phase caps. Is that like Tau just like was like, well, I guess I lose. And you're like, well, that's fun. It was less good. Like again, I don't think units should be uninteractable at 40k. I don't think that's okay. If a unit is in my army's line of sight, I should have the capacity to kill it. And in 9th edition, occasionally that ended up not being the case, and in 10th edition, it for sure is very often not the case. And I think that's just an ethos I disagree with. If my opponent wants me to not shoot them, they should have to maneuver around my line of sight. And then the game becomes interesting and tactical. They shouldn't have the capacity to simply tank everything I do. That's stupid and bad design and makes for bad gameplay. Oh, but anyway, chat. I think I'm going to hop off because I think it's time for me to record 1 million videos. Potentially about Librarius, probably about the Dataslate. So I think we're going to go ahead and ramp up the live stream. But thanks everyone for coming and hanging out with me today. It's been a long discussion. I don't know how I feel about this update. I think we'll have to play with it. I think it could be that, reports of Space Marines' overpoweredness have been overblown. I have a sneaking suspicion that's not the case, but we'll see. I kind of like the change, which is weird. I just don't like that only Space Marines have it. You know what I mean? Like space, especially like Dark Angels. They got like the 4+ devastating wound guys now. They can like combo a lot of stuff into the new Outrider datasheet. That's sweet. And then Codex Space Marines getting +1 to wound is like also sweet. But I don't think anything else, like nothing else was elevated to the same level. You know what I mean? So Space Marines have like all these rerolls and all these like wound bonuses now, but like what else is like, what is a fucking Tyranid player gonna do? Just die? Like hope they survive plus an entire Space Marine army shooting at them with +1 to wound and then like regenerate their D3 +1 with Assimilation Swarm? I don't think so. I think they're just gonna lose. So yeah, I don't know. It feels like it's a step in the right direction, but I think it's a step in the right direction for Space Marine players. But we'll see. Maybe it's not even good. Where's the Thousand Sons rework? Where they're getting a codex, right? Like Thousand Sons, Militarum, Eldar all feel like they kind of got left by the wayside, but I think that's because they're the next 3 codexes, right? So I just don't think that they're they're dedicating development time to factions, like to rules that won't matter. You know what I mean? Can you ask why Lionel Johnson's points went up? Because he got his sweep got buffed. That's why. He does double damage on his sweep now. I think it was too many points probably, but there was a reason for it. It's Imperial Guard Knights in Eldar. Oh, I was under the impression that Thousand Sons had been confirmed. Maybe I'm a silly goose. Am I a silly goober? Yeah, I guess not. Emperor's Children, it looks like, are being posited at being like early 2025, but I guess Thousand Sons haven't been. Maybe they're okay with them being the cult of magic, the sort of mediocre cult of magic for a little while. Well, I guess that's egg on my face, chat. I don't pay attention to news stuff. That's my problem. I can't keep track of it all. We talked about Librarius detachment. We talked about Space Marine, so I'm not going to go further into it. I'll probably do a video on it though. Bobo's Liberty with infiltrators thinks my father smells of elder variants. I'm going to rapid ingress next to that guy. What are you going to do about that? Agent X? I'm going to use a CP. I'm going to stand 12 inches away and I'm going to fucking charge his ass. I'm going to stab him and he's going to go away. Except he's going to Armor of Contempt and then make a bunch of Feel No Pains and then I won't kill him. We know Fate dice are getting changed? Yeah, we know Eldar are getting changed for sure. All right, chat. Well, with that, I think I'm gonna go ahead and transition out. Thanks everyone for hanging out with me. Stay tuned for more content. Probably a video coming this afternoon, and then more stuff tomorrow. It's forever. The content machine keeps grinding. So I'll see you in the next video. I do have a live stream scheduled tomorrow as well over on Twitch. So come hang out with me over on Twitch. I think that is scheduled for 2 p.m. U.S. Eastern Time. So I'll see you then. And otherwise, keep it classy, folks. Cheers, everyone.